Good evening. City of Lamarck, City Council regular agenda, October 10th, 2022. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Lamarck, Texas will conduct a regular meeting October 10th, 2022, beginning at 6 p.m. Council Chambers, 1109 B Bayou Road, Lamarck, Texas, as well as via video conference hosted through Zoom. In accordance with section 551.127B of the Texas Local Government Code, the presiding officer and a quorum of the City of Lamarck City Council, intend to be and will physically be present at 1109 B Bayou Road, Lamarck, Texas. This location will be open to the public and the meeting will be broadcast at this location on channel 16 and via YouTube. The meeting has been called to order. Kara, could you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember District A. Present. Councilmember District B.
Present.
Councilmember District C.
Present.
Councilmember District D.
Present.
Mayor.
Present.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kara. We will now have our invocation and pledge, and I would like to invite, if you would, Mayor Pro Tem to lead us in our invocation and Councilwoman McAuliffe to lead us in our pledge.
Almighty and gracious God, you who give us life, wisdom, and hope, we gather again as a community of people here to do the business of the city. But in doing so, we always ask for your guidance and direction so that we may build and together a far more equitable community here, a community that's filled with hope and with the great expectations of the future to come. It is in your holy name we always pray and ask for forgiveness. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Thank you, Joe and Casey. We're now moving to presentations. And we have a proclamation for our former Parks Board member and Lamarck Independent School District athletic director and head football coach, as well as athletic director of formerly known Shekinah Radiance Academy, currently known as Abundant Life Christian School. Mr. Walker's family is not here with us today. They are unable to be with us, and so we will present this proclamation to them at the next council meeting. Item 4.2, Municipal Court Week. Is there someone here from the municipal court? There's my cousin. This is our municipal court staff. This is our municipal court judge, Judge Terry, not Terry, head judge. This is our municipal court administrator. This is Rosemary Bell. This is our marshal, Mr. Russell Washington, and I'll let you introduce the rest of your staff. And this is Terry all. Very good. Do you have other staff you'd like to make? Do you have other staff? Office of the Mayor of the City of Lamarck, proclamation. Whereas municipal courts play a significant role in preserving public safety and promoting quality of life in Texas. As more people encounter municipal courts than all other Texas courts combined, and public impression of Texas judicial system is largely dependent upon public experience in municipal court. And whereas the City of Lamarck hosted the Lamarck Municipal Court since 1950, and the procedures of the Lamarck Municipal Court operations are set forth in the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure and other laws of the state of Texas. And whereas the City of Lamarck is committed to the notion that our legal system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary will interpret and apply the laws that govern, and that judges and court personnel should comply with the law and act in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. And whereas Lamarck municipal judges are not qualified to the City of Lamarck, but are bound by the law and the canons of judicial conduct, and are required to make decisions independent of the governing body of the city council, city officials, and Now, be it resolved, City Council recognizes that the Constitution and laws of the protect and procedural safeguards and criminal cases for all citizens, including indigent defendants, and supports the Lamarck Municipal Court in complying with such legal requirements. And now therefore we compare City Council by virtue of the authority vested by the City of Lamarck, we hereby proclaim November 7th through the 11th, 2022 as municipal court week in the City of Marque, and we hereby urge everyone in the community to share and we appreciate it. Testimony whereof witness my hand, the seal of the City of Marque, this 10th day of October 2022, Chief Bill Mayor. Let's give our municipal court. We are proud of our staff and the municipal court. We think very highly of them, their dedication, their commitment to our great city. Certainly we owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. Judge, would you like to have a word?
This is true. So I have a day to work hard to continue to serve the city and to make sure that all laws are applied to citizens.
This is my cousin, Rosemary. We have the same last name, but not her. We just have a running joke. But this is Rosemary Hill. She is our municipal court administrator.
Like to say like that, or like that,
Good, of course. So, do you want them to take a picture or anything?
Please, yes, we'd like to take a picture with the group and yourself. Thank you.
Very good. Thank y'all.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Good of the order. We also have a proclamation from our Founder's Day celebration, but it is not on the agenda. So we will, if we do that tonight, we will do that in the good of the order so that we can stay in line with our agenda. Item 5, public safety. There is a Safe City Initiative update. The last update that we received, council, was about 6 months ago. So it's time for another update. Chief Randall Argon, would you approach, please, sir? Welcome.
Mayor, councilman, city manager. You remember back in February 3rd, 2022, it was approved to move ahead with the Lamarck Safe City Initiative. We spent 4 months working on with subject matter experts sitting right here. A lot of it was passed through you all and it was approved. And that's the mission we've been on, okay? The goal number 1, I'm just going to kind of go over it. What's in red is kind of summary of what we've done, okay? Our goal was to have 3 community watch areas by the end of the year, which is not even here yet. We're 3 months away. We've implemented 4. We might have 1 more coming up. So that's been a great amount of work. Down to B, reintroduced CompStat program. We had 5 CompStat briefings. Tomorrow, our Mayor Pro Tem hopefully will be there. Our city manager goes to every one of them. And I hope, Councilman Carlson, you've been to one. Hopefully we have Councilwoman McAuliffe and Councilwoman Yancey show up for the next one. Okay, so with that move, fully trained gang unit. 2 officers are now fully trained. We're going to conduct a survey in December. D, hire a contractor to be a crime analyst. As you know, that's been done. Our attorney, Eric Robichaud, has been doing that, doing a great job. All these stats that you see at the CompStat meeting, Councilman Carlson, that's due to his efforts. So that's working really good. Next page, Texas Recognition Program. This has been initiated and policies are being reviewed. There's 170 standards that we have to meet to be accredited by the state of Texas, which is a big honor. This thing should have been done eons ago. We're working on that. I'm reading each and every policy, which has a certain compliance standard. For instance, one might be officers must wear body armor when on patrol. That is the thing that will be assessed. They'll come in, they'll see the officers wearing body armor on patrol. And that's one of the standards. There's 170 like that. And we have a file. Each standard has a number, and we'll put the actual policy in there and a proof of compliance. Eventually, they'll come in and do an assessment. We'll be accredited. It's a big honor. Goal number 2, special response team will be used as often as practicable. That's a special response team. That could be doing anything, working traffic to major cases, working on major crimes. We've actually had 18 SRT operations so far this year. It's quite a bit. And then the year's not even over. Goal number 3, the COPS grant. Apply for grant of 3 officer teams. We have submitted the COPS grant. We're asking for 6 officers, 2 3-man teams. And I don't know why they don't want to be reached, but we've emailed them, we've called them. You know, the federal government's got all these menus, and we left messages. So I don't know. We were supposed to know at the end of September. As soon as we know, I'm going to tell the city manager, and hopefully it'll be good news. Goal 4, street lights. This is something we started. It's kind of a public safety thing, as you know, but it's, when I was interim city manager, we did a lot of work on that. Rick's running with it, city manager's running with that. My offices are actually telling Public Works what lights are out. Like Lake Road's eons ahead of light years ahead of where it's been, and that's not a pun, really. Okay, consultant regarding lighting, that's been acquired in Ho. You know what's going on that. Goal 5, next page. Hire a social worker. This thing kind of didn't go well due to the property tax rollback. This goal could not be executed, and I got a little summary there what happened. By the way, the union and the collective bargaining agreement, they've actually formulated an agreement to hire a contractor eventually on an RFP who would help the police in need or public safety, which includes the fire and EMS. So that's coming. Okay. Down there where B, you all were interested in having teen assistants. That was one of the major things. I communicated with RCC. Cicely Henderson got involved with me. We signed an MOU, and they are doing something. They started a program already. It's called Be Strong, and it's at the high school and the middle school. And as you can see, the middle school program is on Tuesdays and the high school is on Wednesday, and each class is 1 hour. But that's the beginning of it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to start some more programs, and they're working on that. So they've really been hit the ground running on that. Okay, moving along to on the back side, last page, the crime rate. Okay, crime is down as of 10/1 to October 1st. Crime is down 8.1% as compared to the same period last year. We're only asking for a 2% reduction in crime for the whole year, so we're doing okay on that. So hopefully it'll stay at that rate, but we are doing everything possible to keep the crime rate down. Now that's violent crime. Property crime, it's up. Now I want to say something about property crime. You've heard me mention this if you've been to my CompStat meetings or other meetings. Statistics show that 2/3 of crime is performed inside, and that 1/3 that's not inside could be covered by a truck, a dump truck, or a tree, or whatever, a wall. So really, a lot of the crimes that we have that are property crimes are inside, and we can't. How are we going to patrol Walmart or Walgreens? You know, that's security. And I will say this: we did the workup on Mayor and I talked about this over the weekend. The number of larcenies we've had up to October the 1st was 324. A larceny. A larceny is a theft of property. Of that, 225 were shopliftings. Okay, when you do the math, 70% of our theft in our city, 70% is shoplifting. About one a day. And 81% of all shoplifting cases occur, I guess you know where, Walmart. Okay. 56% of all larcenies in our city is from Walmart. So what I'm saying is, by the way, 9% occurs at Walgreens. The areas that we cannot police, we cannot be inside Walmart, we cannot be in Walgreens. We're just kind of like our hands tied behind our back and our feet tied too. We just can't do something about that. So when you say property crime's up, okay, but when you talk about violent crime, that's important to me because that's where people get injured. It's forcible rape, robbery, aggravated assault, and murder. By the way, on murder, we've had 4 homicides this year, which include 5 decedents, 5 killed. We've solved 3, we got 1 left. And we're en route to solve that too. So it's pretty good staffing by our major crime investigators. So with that, I think we're going in the right direction with the Lamarck Safe City Initiative. It gives me a boost and support to get things done. So I want to thank you for supporting that and approving everything I put in there because it was a lot of work. And I'm just pointing the way. It's all of them, my guys and gals that are doing the work. Okay. So any questions?
Thank you, Chief. Council, do we have any questions for Chief Argon?
None here.
I do have a question. So if you're saying that Walmart is the area where we have a lot of our property crimes, have we tried to meet with their security
I have called him 4, 5, 6 months ago, the director of it. I gave him some ideas back then. In fact, I was going to call him again today because I was humorous, but I told Caesar what happened, what we did in another state. There are some things you can do that, they have security. And I have seen places, by the way, Councilwoman Yancey, where we actually have officers walking around and you think it's a deterrent, but they can go behind the aisles and stick stuff in their pants or something. So I'm going to talk to the security director. I have his number until we talked and explain that. Because let me tell you, every single larceny, it could be a stick of gum. That's a statistic.
Yeah.
10-cent item is a larceny.
But if 70% of our crime is coming from that area, it seems like we can meet with that regional director because that's our store and that's an inventory loss to them. So maybe we can come up with some incentives or some type of programming that we can sit down and try to see what we can do about that. Because it's impacting our city. It's impacting how we look as when people are trying to move here, they don't know that it's coming from the biggest store in Mid-County, which is Walmart, and it's in our city. So I was just saying that there's a way we can do that. I know we did that before with CVS in my district, and it tended to help a little bit, but it seems like we need to get something a little bit more tangible and some deliverables that we can say we've done X, Y, Z, and this is a result of that. And just talking is not going to get it. So I encourage you all to try to see what we can get some deliverables to say, let's meet and these are our goals. If it's just to get it reduced a little bit, because that's just not fair to us. They're supposed to be a good neighbor, right?
Correct.
In our city. And that's something that we might need to take over corporate to say, we've got to do something.
If we didn't have those larcenies, we would be very low on crime rate. But that is.
And whatever I can do to help, I would love to help.
That is a concern. Years ago, when they didn't split up property crimes from violent crimes, they just used what they call the crime rate. It's called anyway, a lot of chiefs got upset because they had gas stations at the interstate exits, and they were getting hit harder. So they separated them, property crime from violent crime, because they had a high crime rate, but it was all property. So now that's what it is. I'll do that. We just said, good comment. Thank you. Any other questions?
The program with RCC, I agree that sounds like a great start, but and I noticed in here that you specifically notated that the program is targeted towards women. Is that your young female students? Is that correct? Did I understand?
It's for the Be Strong program. Yes, it's for females, and it's to do those three things to give them, empower them to know what to do in situations.
Okay. I would love it if we, asked RCC, because I know in the past they've had programs that are for boys and young men. And I think particularly if we're talking about prevention of sexual violence, I would love to see some programs that are targeted towards the male students at the school as well.
They do have some others they're working on,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a few others.
Yeah.
They're just getting geared up.
Right. And I mean, I think this is
Cool.
so great and
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
happy. I would love to see that as well. So it's not just all focused on the female students. So but this is great.
Can you email me if you would?
100%.
Some ideas, or let me talk. about it.
Totally. I'd love to.
I'll
I
share
think
it
what-
with Cicely.
I think what's happening, Councilwoman, is that they have CIS there, community schools, and they have some programs too, so they're trying not to duplicate some things, so
Great.
that may be the reason why there's a target to the females. So,
Cool.
They're working with us, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's great.
Mayor, if I may to take a moment on this, want to take a moment and recognize our police department as well for their achievement to be recognized amongst one of the best in the state for the population under 25,000.
Mhm.
We were fortunate enough to be a finalist. We did not win the top award, but we were recognized in the top 3 out of a very large contingency of cities. And we have a very short 1-minute video to show what our presentation would have looked like had we won, but this is the one that we submitted. Kyle, if you could please share that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We actually, I brought out what the purpose of community policing is, which is basically preventive policing. Preventive policing is preventing the crime from happening in the first place, not just taking reports and getting in the car and driving off.
You know, it just reiterates what we're already doing. You know, the increased presence, a lot of our citizens are saying that. You've heard tonight that the crime and our stats are down since the increased presence and the directed patrols. So we're going to continue to do that, and hopefully we continue to curb the violence and the crime that's been happening in the area because of it. So you're going to see more active patrols going on throughout the city, but specifically there's certain areas where we have a lot of issues with crime and a lot of shots fired and things going on of that nature.
Thank you, Mayor. We're going to continue our community policing efforts, continue with our TAPS efforts, and want to applaud our department for maximizing that grant thus far. Hopefully we'll hear some positive words on the other grant application to get more officers, and we'll give you more on the light update later on the agenda. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
well, wait a minute, I have to set the stage. Because it was in a room of 4,000 people. So thank you so
Good.
much. Out of all
Right.
how many cities did you have in Texas?
1,222 cities.
Yes, and so that shows that progress is being made. And I know we're still, one of the things we're
Right.
working on is trying to get more cops. And please, we need more people to apply. And I think that once there is that law enforcement class that they have at the high school, and
Mhm.
I met that young lady.
TAPS.
Yeah, you're right. And that is going to, I think, help with that lost supply to try to have officers here. But I just want to kind of set the stage for our citizens who may not have, who couldn't see that. That was a very proud moment for us. Our officers were in full regalia, and it just felt good to know that, just to see some intentional deliverables and be able to witness that. It was a great feeling, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of that.
And I really want to thank the mayor for instituting this Safe City Initiative, and you council members for
Yeah.
approving it, because that gave us a boost.
Yeah.
To get things done. So thank you, Mayor, and
Yeah.
council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, let's give it up for him.
Wait.
Chief Aragon.
Chief. You have 2 whole council people that hadn't had a chance to question you yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2 whole.
Uh-oh.
Thought you were gonna get away.
Well, I'm going to forego any questions.
Yeah.
That's not, I'll just say, and I saw this too on the National Night Out on Saturday,
Mhm.
that the engagement between not only the fire department and the police with community. I felt that this was it was really the community that I grew up in,
Mhm.
where I recall the first time I was ever stopped driving my parents' brand new 1964 Pontiac Star Chief sedan. And man, I felt like a millionaire in that car. It had air conditioning and everything. And the police chief at that time, who was doing patrol, stopped me for running a red light there at the corner of Highland
Oh, boy.
a Baptist church. Oh man, was I nervous. I was thinking the worst. This is gonna go, it's not gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. And he said, you ran that red stop sign. I said, yes, that's right, sir, I did. And they said, he asked me, who's your daddy? I said, it's Jose Campion. He said, yeah, I know Jose from the church.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. You better promise not to stop fully at the stop signs,
Yeah.
and don't do that again. Otherwise, I will tell your dad what you did. And I said, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Because I knew what would come to me then. But when I saw that Saturday night, that engagement, I felt like that was the
Right.
Mark that I grew up in. So I applaud all of you guys and for the efforts that you're doing to re-engage in our community, to not create divisions between,
Right.
especially the young people. They loved it when they saw those vehicles. You guys were out there, right? To see those lights on and stuff. So my congratulations. And as councilperson Yancey was saying, it was absolutely, I can't express the feeling except it gave me goosebumps to see the big name Lamarck up there
Right.
Mhm.
as a community at that convention in San Antonio. So congratulations. And we'll look for even bigger and better things, God willing, for the year to come.
We're gonna try it
Thank you,
again
sir.
next year.
Mhm. Mhm.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
just wanted to maybe recap this so that we can distill the information to a place that we can understand what's happening. You had goals from your Safe City Initiative, and there were first year goals. There were several of them. And you have just said to us that you have completed every goal with the exception of bringing on a social worker. Is that correct?
That's about correct. Yes, sir.
And the reason that you were unable to bring on a social worker is because we had a tax rollback. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. You moved into crime stats and you said that we were 8.1% down the calendar year in violent crime. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then you said we were up same time frame in property crime, but you didn't give us a number. What percent are we up?
12.1%.
We're up 12.1%.
Mhm.
You said to us that 70% of those crimes, those property crimes, are crimes that happen within Walmart. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 70% of your property crimes happen in Walmart.
And 9%. at
And
Walgreens.
in Walgreens.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Chief. Is there any correlation between elevated property crime statistics and inflation?
Any correlation between
Elevated property crime statistics and the issue of inflation that our country is dealing with?
Probably so. They say when the country is having issues with people getting jobs, low incomes and so forth, that does create more crime. The areas that have low income or high unemployment traditionally have a increase in property crimes. So that is definitely a reality.
Have you noticed, or were you able to understand from a month to month perspective how these property crimes were happening? In other words, are we able to identify in months where inflation was all inflation is out of control, but in months where inflation was excessively out of control, are we able to correlate higher property crime statistics?
The middle of the year, things got pretty bad.
Summertime?
Inflation
Okay.
was going up, mortgage rates going up, loan rates. Plus you had the summer.
Right.
youth throughout a school. So we did see a, little spike on that area too.
Okay.
But, once again, if we didn't have the shopliftings, we would be very low. And cities that have major department stores such as Walmart and Target or whatever, they have a lot of shopliftings that happens. And we make 1 or 2 arrests a day.
How
basically.
many, Chief, and you don't have to answer this today if you don't know, how many of those property crimes that have occurred in Walmart have been perpetrated by citizens of Lamarque? Lamarque is a regional store. Is that correct? It serves Texas City. It serves the southern part of Dickinson, portions of Santa Fe, and Hitchcock, at least. How many of those property crimes are committed by citizens in Lamarque?
I really don't have that answer, Mayor. I can find that out for you. I would say we have Texas City visits there in Lamarque, and then I know personally we've had cases where people that are coming from other counties, and it's like a serial shoplifting ring. But
Yeah. So what I would ask Cesar on that, just for the council's information, so that we can articulate to our constituency a true picture of what's happening as it relates to property crime.
Sure.
I would suggest that we allow Chief Argon and Judge Pettijohn, if she's still here, to give us information so that we can understand how we could, if at all possible, augment our efforts against property crime. Here's the most important question, Chief, that I have for you tonight, because this is the grade that if we're grading ourselves as a community, right? I said with my ambitious ego for our city that we would be the safest city in Texas. And so is your statistician here?
no, he's not.
Okay, I had
Eric's not here.
I had a conversation with him Saturday, and let me see if you can answer this question. He said to me that we are blank as it relates to the state average in crime. Do you remember that number?
Yes, I have it back in the rear. I can get that as far as the property crime rate.
The overall crime
Yeah,
rate.
right.
We are,
I can get that.
and here's the report card, and you can get it to verify. He said to me that we are at this point 4% below the state average of overall crime. Is that true?
I think I heard him say that, and I would say if he said that, it's true.
If we were double the state average. Is that correct at one point?
We were.
Now we are 4% below.
Right.
Would you consider that a reduction in crime?
I would.
Okay,
Definitely.
got it. I got it. Thank you. Do we have any other questions for Chief Argon? Say so.
No, sir, just want to confirm that it was 4% below
Okay.
the state average, and that would calculate as a drastic reduction.
I was going to ask you the same question. Would you consider
I
that a
would.
reduction? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for Chief Argon? Chief, we want to thank you for your efforts, for taking on the Safe City Initiative, and for bringing community policing back to our city. It works in Lamarque. It works in Lamarque. And we are proud that it works in our city. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Council. Mayor.
We are now at our citizens participation for hearing, limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments from the public will be heard at this time. Any person with city-related business who has signed up may speak to council, limited to 3 minutes. If wishing to speak, give the mayor your full name, address, and item you wish to speak about. Compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the city may not deliberate on comments. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Personnel matters should be addressed to the city manager during normal business hours. If you're visiting with us via phone, you may press *6 to mute and unmute yourself to speak. If you are visiting with us via Zoom on smartphone, tablet, or computer, you may mute and unmute yourself by pressing the microphone icon on the lower portion of your screen. If you are here in person, you may approach the podium to my left and to your right, give the mayor your name, your address, and you will be heard. Do we have, Kyle, any persons online wishing to speak? Are there any persons online wishing to speak?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lowry. Please state your name and address for the record.
Joseph Lowry, 2503 Drive.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. of all, I want to congratulate the police department in executing some great work with the DWI arrests the last few months in the city. Great job on that. I think it's a wonderful that we got some great officers that are having zero tolerance for driving while under the influence in Marque. I think it's a great thing. Also, Nations District A on the recall. Everybody coming together as a community. Our voices being heard, and we're finally being able to speak. And also, I would city. I remember when Yancy was running, she was very adamant about doing a
Mr. Lowry,
Joseph.
Mr. Lowry,
Mr. Lowry.
just refrain from using Miss Yancey's name and you'll be able to continue, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I remember our councilwoman was being real adamant on a forensic audit of the city, and I hope she has that same energy still. She was displeased with some previous transactions that the city had with church in the community. And so I would hope that she has that same energy in this forensic audit. And I would also request maybe Mr. Carlson and Mr. Compion would also speak up and possibly do a forensic audit. We have collected almost $10,000 in the community, and we from citizens that are willing to pay up to $10,000 for the forensic audit under the condition that if it is a clean audit, that money can be kept. If it's a dirty audit, then they have to reimburse money. And I don't know if that's a question that Gus would have to answer, but that's a question tonight for my council, Mr. Compion. And I just hope they have that same energy as they did when they were running for council to do this forensic audit that they were speaking of.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. Any other persons online wishing to speak? I think we have staff, that the rest of staff. Okay,
Looks like the rest are staff.
okay. Let's move on to those in the audience. Mrs. Melissa Tortosini with the Texas City Independent School District. Hello, Melissa, and welcome. State your name and your address. I'm joking.
My name's Melissa Tortorisi. I live in Texas City on 19th Avenue North, but I am here today representing the Texas City Independent School District. Wanted to let you know proudly that Texas City ISD has made some strides in our accountability ratings this past year. In August, found out that our district is rated a B, a solid B. We're very excited about that. 3 years ago, we had 42% of our campuses were designated as required improvement required. And I'm proud to say that we have 0 campuses who are classified as improvement required. And all of our campuses are rated an A, a B, or a C. And we continue to work hard to make additional improvements. Also, Texas City ISD is fiscally responsible. We consistently receive the Texas Education Agency Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. We consistently receive a superior rating, which is the highest rating possible. And not only the highest rating possible, but we get perfect scores. And so we're very happy about that. We have received multiple state awards for our financial transparency, and we have also just found out we are receiving a national award for financial transparency in our purchasing department as well as our finance. Having said all of that, I'm giving you a little bit of information because we have a bond election on the ballot. And how do we get to a bond election? We have been studying our academic programming. We surveyed teachers, we surveyed parents. What do you want academics to look like for your students in Texas City ISD, for all students in Texas City ISD? Once we had a game plan for that and set academic goals, then we needed to figure out what facilities we needed in our facilities to accommodate the programming and meet our academic goals. And we've been doing that for about 2 years. Then turn that over to a facilities advisory committee made up over 50 different community members from Texas City and Lamarque. And they made some recommendations and made some priorities. And some of those are now to us, to the voters in a bond election on November the 8th. So there are two propositions on the ballot. The first, I kind of dub all things academic. There's a new Lamarque High School, which if passed would be on the current property that the current Lamarque High School is at. A new early childhood learning center, which we would want to put more centrally located for both communities. A new ag barn, a new STEM robotics center, renovations to fine arts and career technical education programs at Texas City High School, and then district-wide safety and security. That's Proposition A. Proposition B would be a new Lamarque High School stadium that would be put on the same property as Lamarque High School, make it easier access for our students, and then renovations at Texas City High School Stadium. So that's Proposition B. Now we are able to, if both of these propositions pass,
Continue.
if both propositions pass, we are able to do this without raising the tax rate. So whether it passes or not, the tax rate is not going to change. We're able to do this because we have been paying off debt early, saving taxpayers $500,000 in interest because we paid it off early. So that gives us the capacity to increase the debt and to have these capital improvements. So just want to remind everybody that early voting is starts October the 24th. We are encouraging everybody to vote early because it's a general election and anticipate big lines and lots on November the 8th. We've got one more meeting, public meeting. It will be right here in this room on October 24th at 6 o'clock. We will provide much more information. I had a very little time and lots of information to get into this 3 minutes. Thank you, Mayor Bill, for extending lots of information on our website too, but we hope we pack the house for everybody to find out more information about the bond. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, just one touch point on that, reminding folks that that tomorrow, the 11th, is the last day to register for voters to register as well. So to that point, I'm sure that's one of the bullet points you wanted to share as well. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Carolyn Small. Carolyn. Name and address for the record, please.
Carolyn Small, 1121 Prune Street. Good evening, everyone. My reason for standing up here, grappling with my fear of public speaking, is to come to the defense of our council and mayor before what will hopefully be our last recall election. I want to appeal on their behalf to our more compassionate citizens and illustrate that these baseless accusations and recalls are destructive to our community. They are hindering our council on the race to greatness, kind of like a relay race, continuously passing the baton to the next elected official. Lanes A, B, C, D, and our mayor, many lanes, but one team. The track filled with hurdles, labeled with words like infrastructure, budget, crime statistics, inflation, and literal potholes. Our racers carry more than a baton. They bring with them rich, full lives filled with God, church, family. Here before me are teachers, pastors, veterans, volunteers, voted in by the constituents of Lamarque. And I believe each member deserves to finish their leg of the race before the changeover or to the next scheduled election. They are moving the city forward, all while shielding themselves and their families from harassment that has gone far beyond what anyone calling themselves a Christian should be capable of. Months ago, I reached out to Councilwoman Yancey because the social media posts I saw about her made me fear for her safety. Pure hate speech by those who have had the gall to come to this stand meeting after meeting, crying victim for being accused of racism, saying it's dividing the community, but they can call her racist and take none of the blame. It sounds a little privileged to me, but if I call it the hypocrisy online, I get told to stay in my lane. And I found one full of citizens and volunteers there long before me, a human shield for our elected officials. I invite citizens to join the lane they've created. I don't like bullies. They are a pet peeve of mine, but they will back down if our numbers are stronger than theirs. And if you sign the recall petition, that is not a promise to vote in favor of the recall. When you go to the polls, no one can see your vote. You, the citizen, the individual, will be able to decide to put the recalls and vendettas in the past, restore our community and its leaders to peace. and move Lamarque forward together. Go vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Small. Rashard Loftus. Welcome, Mr. Loftus. As always, name and address, sir.
Good afternoon, Rashard Loftus, 309 Johnson Street. So first off, I want to thank you all for your service here for this community. Y'all are moving the city forward. Y'all have done what we've been asking you to do, some of us anyway. We got street lights where it was dark. We got new roads where they were bumpy. And some of us appreciate that. Some of us may not. That's up to each individual. But I want to personally say thank you all, from the city manager on down to Public Works and everybody that works for this city. And with that, I want to move on to the next thing. I'm asking for volunteers to come out to Bobby Beach and help get that field back together. So probably by summertime, you know, we can get some kids involved to come out there. Had a couple volunteers come out this week to help, and it was a good time. Moving on to the third thing, this contract with Parish and Paris. It's been kind of a contentious thing here. This company has been allowed to, how would I say, operate in a manner that is not conducive to what myself as a citizen would like to see. They've taken money from individuals through liens and fines and haven't done some of the work. I'm not going to say all of the work, but I'm standing here once again to tell you that some of the work hadn't been done. And if they get this contract once again, I can assure you that myself and a couple of the citizens are going to band together. And every time they say they mow the yard, we want to see proof. I want to see before, after photos like the contract says they're supposed to do. I want to know who's in charge of seeing it. And if it ain't happening, I'll be back. And I'm going to call whoever's out that needs to be called out, whether it's one of y'all. I support you, but I will call you out. And it's only fair. That's just where we need to be with that contract. If they get it, y'all better be paying attention to what they're doing and what they're not doing. Because I don't appreciate what they haven't done already. I got proof that they wasn't doing some of the work. And if anybody want to see it, get at me. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Loftus. Item 7, public hearings. City will conduct, public hearings to hear public input on 7.1, ordinance number letter O -2022-0013, dissolving the Public Safety Committee, making various findings and providing an effective date. Kara, we'll close the regular council meeting at
6:52.
and we will open the public hearing at
6:52.
Are there any persons in online or in person that would like to speak to item 7.1? Any persons online or in public that would like to speak to item 7.1? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing at.
Are you gonna take us do two separate hearings? There's two. So
You want to go past this one and do the next one?
we can do it.
We have to close before I read? Okay, well, let's keep it open. Thank you for that. Let's keep it open and let's do 7.2. Ordinance number letter O -2022-0015, approving the redistricting of the city's single-member council districts and establishing new district boundary lines based on 2020 census data for the city of Lamarque, Texas. City council elections, making various findings and provisions related to the subject and providing for an effective date. The public hearing is still open. And so now I will take any persons wishing to speak on item 7.2. Are there any persons tonight, whether you're online or in person, wishing to speak to item 7.2? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing at,
6:53.
and we will reopen our regular meeting at,
6:53.
and we'll move to item 8. Discussion possible action regarding approving 8-1 ordinance number letter O 2022 0013. Dissolving the Public Safety Committee, making various findings and providing for an effective date. This is the second and final reading. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
yes.
Go ahead, Michael.
Just for clarification, I know some constituents were concerned about what the Public Safety Committee was, and this is just about tow truck services. This has nothing to do with what Chief Aragon talked about earlier and a Public Safety Committee that in that form, correct?
That is correct. This this is the appeal board for people who have issues with their car being towed, or actually not even that, it's wrecker services and that. In the past, those have all been resolved at the staff level in the past 10 years. I don't believe in the past 9 years it's met. So,
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Any other clarification? Thank you for that, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? We'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8-2, ordinance number letter O 2022 0015. Approving the redistricting of the city's single-member council districts, establishing new district boundary lines based on the 2020 census data for the city of Lamarque, Texas, city council elections, making various findings and provisions related to the subject and providing for an effective date. This is the second and final reading. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? I have a question. The last meeting, there was a change that was talked about, where I guess would you call that the western portion
Yes.
of Delaney Cove
yes, Mayor.
was, we were talking about perhaps it might be moved into A.
That is correct, and that's actually what the council voted on. So that's what's reflected here. That's what the council passed on first reading, and that was still within within the permissible deviation. It was an acceptable change. I mean,
Council, are we wishing to vote on the map as is? Is that what your motion? Who made the motion?
I did.
Is that what your motion is? As is?
My motion is to vote on the map as is.
Who second?
Second.
Did you as is?
Yes,
that-
as is.
Okay. Let me say this. I don't think that I'm going to be voting in favor of this map because I am a proponent of communities and districts being of similar makeup. And I already had a little heartburn with not with my friend Ms. Yancey, but with District A because of the Delaney Cove addition. It does not, in my opinion, fit with the historic issues that the northern portion or perhaps even the eastern portions of our city have. And so I already had a little heartburn, but now I have a little more heartburn. And so I'll be voting against this map, but we certainly can have a vote and majority rules. So are there any other discussions at this time?
No.
Hearing none, are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Let's call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Show it pass, Kiara 4-1. Item 9, minutes. Let's take all of them together, council, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Regular minutes, regular meeting minutes, 9/12/2022. Workshop meeting minutes, 9/12/2022. Regular meeting minutes 4/11/2022. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Are there any additions or corrections to our minutes? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 10, resolutions. This is the consent agenda. The following items shall be considered for action as a whole unless one or more council members object. Unless otherwise specified, the city manager is authorized to execute all necessary documents upon final approval by the city attorney. Council, are there any of these on the consent agenda that you would like to pull?
I'd like to pull 10-2 and 10-4.
You want 10-2 and 10-4. Joe, what do you think?
I am just, not for debate, but comments, 10-5 and 10-6.
10-5, and I guess we didn't pull all of them. huh?
Also,
No, there's-
10-6 also.
1 and 3 are still.
1 and 3. Are we holding on to 1 and 3? What do you think, Casey and Kim?
I have no need to pull those.
All right, we're gonna let them hang, and we will start then, council, on 10-2. Is that the one you wanted, Michael? 10-2?
Yes, sir.
But we still have the ones that are
We had a-
on the consent.
Right.
Need a motion to,
So you all have asked for items to be pulled. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the pulled items first. And then I will go back to those that remain and we will do the consent agenda, if that's agreeable with council. We good?
Works for me.
Okay, thank y'all. Item, did you pull 10-2,
sir.
Michael? Okay, let me read it. 10-2, resolution number letter R 2022 0082 to award a bid to Ramon Landscaping for 2022-2023 contract in the amount of $104,300, Michael.
Okay, I want to clarify that this is a new contract. And this is for somebody different than Parish and Parish, correct?
This is for Ramon Landscaping. Is it
Yes.
Ramon or Raymond? I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Not sure which
Okay.
one it is, but yes, to answer your question, it is a new vendor.
Okay, then what's?
And this is to maintain our park land, if you will, or our properties, not for any public properties.
Okay, and then the Parish, well, I'll talk about that in that
Sure.
section.
Kara, did you want to?
One other item to be clear, this is under Public Works,
Correct.
the landscaping.
Yes.
It's not under the
Code enforcement.
code enforcement.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Councilman, I just wanted to clarify that there are two different annual mowing bids. There's one for city facilities, and then there's a separate one for vacant lots, boardings and. things
Okay,
of that
and
nature.
Ramon is for the
City
city.
facility, yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any further questions on item 10-2? I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
The second,
I second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let's move now to item 10-4, resolution number letter R 2022 regarding award of bid number LM 04-23 to Parish and Parish Tractor Service in the amount of $65,800. Michael.
Okay, reason why I wanted this one pulled because we've had issues with them in the past. And not to mention, I've heard, can't verify it, but I've heard that they've been bashing the city on social media. Why would we want to go with a company that the city has issues with? They're not doing the work. There's documents proving that they haven't done the work, but yet they bill us. That's not being financially responsible. So that's my feelings on this. If we need to, I'd rather go out for bids for a new company.
I understand. Any other comments?
I visited with Miss Kathleen Esteban earlier on this, and we had a very good discussion as usual. So number one, in this area, I personally don't know the entity. Some other individuals obviously have a better feel for them. I did follow up, and Kathleen as well. So I deferred to her experience and in this particular area and her awareness of what this organization has been doing. One of the areas that I discussed with her is exactly, and Kathleen, you might come on up so that you can verify. Don't be shy now, but is in fact the verification issue, right, of the work being done under this contract, because that I shared that concern. That was something that I had heard about too. And Kathleen outlined the verification process that will be followed under this contract, and you might share that with us.
Verification on,
work being completed.
May I
How are
speak to
you?
this just a brief moment? I just want everybody to make sure we're on the same page on this particular bid before it goes out. And Ms. Kathleen, obviously, like before she takes the floor, this was a bid that was brought to council prior to us approving it. But, you know, the actual language was brought out. We want to be consistent in that. We did that August 15th, if I'm not mistaken. It was brought before you as a language that read that we would be awarding whichever company would be the most responsive and lowest bidding. That's how the language was written, and that's how it was approved for us to go out and put this item out for bid. 1, 2, on the method of compliance, there's a 3-step approach on compliance. 1, a picture of the property must be addressed before the actual property is maintained, and it must be time-stamped. A second form is a timestamp picture following the maintenance that is set to take place on said property. And the third layer that we're having is we're having to make sure whichever district that property falls in, for that assigned code officer to go by and inspect that the work has been done. And I just want to take a moment of a personal privilege to not only Kathleen, but the entire code team that's in the back. And we say it in jest, but we call the department code compliance more than so code enforcement, because we want to make sure that we're making sure folks are compliant. But Ms. Kathleen didn't want to steal your thunder, ma'am.
She's tying her shoe. It's all good.
Oh, sorry.
these are the ones back here that inspect the lots after they're cut. And his wording is correct. We do now require in this, I added that to it based on a council member's request. Okay, they're working for the city. They're providing a service for us, so the contractor can provide us before and after pictures. Code knows what the lots look like. So when we have a schedule for them to be mowed, as soon as we receive an invoice, and Supervisor Fields can clarify this for you. The invoice comes in, it goes to her, and she goes out and inspects the lots, or the code officer in that district does. If it's not mowed, it doesn't get paid. In every single invoice since this program began, they have taken pictures of the lots when they mowed them and showed the address or the parcel ID of the lot, because a lot of them don't have addresses. And it's date stamped. So, as in the fees, I'm not sure what you're asking me on that. But we do have proof that the lots are mowed. There was one lot that there was a mistake made on. And since then, the contractor agreed he made a mistake. His crew went out and mowed the wrong lot several times. And he's credited the city back for that. And we had documentation because we had the pictures that were date stamped showing that, yes, you mowed the wrong lot.
And the other discussion that you provide the clarification is that the RFP itself talked about doing the maintenance, or I shouldn't even use the word maintenance, doing the cutting at least or twice. And we discussed that, we clarified that that's a determination ultimately that you guys with your team will make, because there are certain times of the year that cutting that grass twice is not even necessary, depending upon drought and the time of the year as well too. So it's not so this amount is up to that amount, and they're working with the flexibility there in terms of when the property will be cut. So that was the other question that I reviewed and discussed with her there on that side. I personally am willing to give them an opportunity to get the work done. If we have difficulties this year, then I'd suggest that.
Well, I want to, advise council that our mowing contract is maintenance mowing. 60 some lots, they maintenance mow a month, a minimum once a month, some of them twice a month. The public works contract, that's manicured mowing. That's where they're actually getting out there and like you would do your yard. We do the maintenance mowing to keep the grass below 12 inches as ordinance requires, and to weed eat and try to deter any vermins or anything like that might be living there. So there's a difference in the type of mowing also. That's why the prices are different than what you see on the other bid.
The last item for clarification, so that we all know, it was interesting. Someone commented, why do we have this fixed amount of lots? And we also discussed that. And you made me aware of the fact that a lot of these lots are owned by individuals that have gone on to their greater reward. And families are not necessarily responding to the requests that we're making of them to do the maintenance on the property. And they're properly notified, and without a response, we go ahead and initiate the maintenance work that needs to be done on that property. But you also alerted me to something that I was not aware of, that we have properties on this list that have been foreclosed upon by different entities, such as Galveston County or a school district or other entities, governmental entities. And those, we do the maintenance on, we do on those, because nobody else is doing the maintenance. We don't ask Galveston County or the ISD to do
We've
that.
tried.
We tried.
We've tried.
Yeah. And by the way, and Gus and Kathleen alerted me to this, we're not even eligible to be reimbursed for the work that we do on that by state law on that side. Is that correct?
You're speaking of the liens.
The liens, yeah.
Yes, if a property is sold that's been on our contract for years and years, if it's sold at a sheriff's sale, we cannot recoup that cost.
Yeah.
Other than what small percentage is divided between all the entities that actually own that lot. So it's Galveston County Trust, but Gus can probably be more clear than I am. But it's still several different entities that split whatever they sold it at auction for. So in the last couple of years, we've gotten a little bit more than we ever used to get, but it's still, I mean, if it doesn't cover the taxes, then we don't get anything.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do. Let me say this. There is a pattern that we have determined in District A where lots were not getting cut and community people were cutting them. That has been an issue, and that is a pattern. That was something that I heard when I was running for office. That was something that I witnessed when I became the councilwoman. I will not be supporting this contract because in District A, where we do have a lot of empty lots and where there had been contention concerning this particular company, we know that our code office is one of the best in the county. I've been told that not only by health inspectors, I've been told that by many people, but there is a problem with this particular company. And you did an amazing job fixing some of those loopholes, but I don't think companies should be rewarded for bad behavior. Not when we have other options. And especially when there's a perception out there in my particular district that this particular, we on Richards Court, there's grass this high. I thought that was supposed to have been cut. I don't know if they haven't been cut in the last 2 months. I'm not sure, but the proof is in the pudding. And sometimes perception is not always what is. But let me ask you a question, City Manager. What happens when we have companies who don't properly perform? Is there anything in our ordinance or anything that we have? Because I know we have a performance bond. It's in the
Certainly.
contract.
So there is failure to perform clauses in all of our contracts. And should any vendor be found to that, then we would enforce that action.
And we have in the past.
Right.
We've gone with the lowest bidder and we've had to release them
Right.
purely because they couldn't take care of it. That lot you're talking about on Richards Court, that's a substandard case.
Okay.
And we
So who would
did
cut
get a
that?
voluntary, we did get a demolition order on it. So, and that
Yeah.
grass and all will be attended to when it's demolished. Because the whole
So
lot will be brought to grade.
it's got to grow that high? until it
No,
gets-
it's just that it's going through the process. It's not on the mowing list per se.
So who would put that on? Because I've got citizens calling me about that.
Well, we can't put it on there because there's no absentee owner or anything for it. And we're trying to save some money and
Okay.
take it in with the demolition.
I do think that is something worth noting that, because during my tenure on council, I've also had some lots in D, that I've had citizens reach out to me and say, what is going on with this spot? What about this lot on Banana? What about this lot over here? And I would, like doop, 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 reach out to the city manager, reach out to Kathleen and be like, what is going on with it? Because I don't know. And oftentimes I would learn that's not on the list because it's in process, somewhere in the process of basically it means we can't touch it. Or if it does, it means we're going to spend money that we're never going to get back. And it's best if we leave it because we either don't have the legal ability to go on that property or some other reason. And so I think I do wonder if sometimes that is a huge part of some of the perspective of some of our citizens thinking that none of this is getting done, or in reality, there's just some misconnections around what is actually on our MO list and what isn't. And I'm not, I can only speak to a lot of the properties that are in District D, and I feel good about the way a lot of them have been maintained. Like Kathleen said, it is maintenance mowing, nothing's getting.
Thank you for that, because I didn't, there are lots that we're being accused of not mowing that are not on the list.
Yeah.
But they're saying they're not getting mowed, but at least they're bringing it to our attention so we can
Right.
contact that owner.
Right.
But it may not be on this mowing list. And so in their perception, they're seeing, oh, well, this lot's overgrown. Then we've got to go through the long process of trying to reach out and find these people.
Tell me this, and I guess I grew up in Clear Lake and League City, and you got people the same everywhere. Why is it that they stuff gets mowed, or they don't have that issue? And why is it in certain parts of our city, certain parts, that grass just can grow?
I don't know. I can't
I mean,
answer
I
that
don't know.
question
I don't
because
know
we
either.
don't
That's
look
why I'm
at
saying I'm
certain
not voting for
parts
this
when we pick the
contract
mowing
because
list.
they don't respect District A. That's why.
Let me give you some history on this. Mayor Bell, when we were doing the revitalization, he said, we need to clear these lots many years ago. In his wisdom and guidance, he promoted this and said, hey, let's make this mowing contract, this mowing project. And we created it. And these are created from complaints and from clearing streets in District A. Mainly, there's some in District B, very few in District B and C, but mainly in District A, where we went all the way up and down streets, spending thousands of dollars clearing those lots. Well, then he realized, he said, well, now we got to maintain them. So that's where these lots came from. And that's where they all come from. They come from initial complaints from citizens.
Right.
Now, I don't know how League City does it. Maybe they have their own mowing department or something.
Yeah.
They have a lot of money too, yeah.
So number one, they got more money.
We try to get these owners to take care of their own property.
Yeah.
And that's what this law says they're supposed to do. That's what we try to get them to do. But then there's some that are absentee owners. You have people in California, or you have people that ignored their parents' lots, and then all of a sudden they get an offer for somebody who wants to buy it.
Right.
And after 20 years where we've been mowing it, then they decide, oh, wait a minute, that's not fair. I didn't know. There's a lot of circumstances in that. I wish we could. I wish we had an in-house mowing department.
Right.
It would take a whole lot of work off code compliance.
And that's, I guess, where we stand now. Maybe in future years, we won't have contracts like this.
Mhm.
Twofold. One, because maybe everybody will be compliant and take care of their own stuff. Or two, where we have the wherewithal to be able to handle this stuff in-house so we can better manage it to that extent. But again, just a moment of commending staff for their work on this. We're ready to proceed on this item however you wish. And if it's your wish for us to do more, we certainly can do so. Just right now, this is what the budget request would allow.
Did you know that we've decreased these lots from 135 down to some 60 something? That's an amazing feat.
Yeah. Good, Joe.
A suggestion, Mr. City Manager and Kathleen, in
Yes,
the
sir.
interest of providing all of us as residents just information on this, I'd suggest that you put that maintenance list online so that people can easily look at it and say, look, this is one that's under this maintenance agreement here. And
Actually, when we have the new GIS program that
Yes,
we're trying
ma'am.
to put together, that will be, and every citizen will be able to go and look and see what lots are being mowed, what
Good.
houses are being demolished, everything.
But
That's my
I will
goal.
ask-
That's
We're
my,
working
I will
on it.
ask and share
We're working on it.
that's my goal.
the goal, and I will ask Ashura, as Councilwoman Yancy indicated, is that make sure that there's compliance with this organization, right?
We'll
Yeah.
it's been duly
Council
noted.
can choose whoever they like. It's my
Yeah,
job to
but-
give you all the information and make a recommendation on the lowest bidder.
Well, you
Yeah.
reviewed
So
all.
I leave it to council's guidance.
Let me say this, Kathleen, and to the rest of the council. Since I have been put in the position to have to move this program forward on council years ago. Program is great. it has cleaned up our city. It has provided for opportunities for regrowth, new homes in old places. It's a wonderful program. Tremendous progress has been made. Here's the issue. The issue is potentially we have, not that it is even our fault, but this program has now been put under scrutiny. And here's the issue. The issue is there are people's property that is in jeopardy. And a lot of it is associated with this program. And so if people can potentially lose their property and in a program that the city provides, and there are questions surrounding the accountability of said program, I think that it is prudent for us as a council to stop and allow for Cesar to look into some of these allegations because they are serious, which has, again, let me back up and say that has nothing to do with Kathleen. I'm not saying that does. It has nothing to do with Ms. Fields or Michael or any of the wonderful people that work within our city. Does not necessarily have anything to do with Parish and Parish. I have not said anything about Parish and Parish. What I am saying is, according to Ms. Yancey and according to other members of the District 8 community, and perhaps even outside of that, there are questions surrounding whether or not these properties were mowed, because now there are liens being placed on people's property and people potentially are losing their property. When that happens, what I am advocating for is a table. We can continue to mow. Parish and Parish can continue to mow until we get to the bottom of this, until we get to a place that at least we can say to Councilwoman Yancey and Council Member Carlson, we've done our due diligence. We've looked into these potential allegations, and this is what the findings are. It does not cause any heartburn to Parish and Parish because we can continue using them until we find one way or the other. And then we can come back and look at this contract and bring it up for rebid. I think that that's the best way forward if we're looking at allowing our constituencies to trust us. Say so.
Mayor, just on that point, and also just Councilman Yancey brought this to my attention prior. Originally, this item was going to go August meeting, if I'm not mistaken. It was August and it was going to be August. We tabled it from August to September to do our diligence to check that. And to date, nothing has been found of the contrary, except for the one property that was mentioned. So we have taken 60 days roughly to look into this matter. If it's the will for us to go through that, we will be more than happy to do so. But this was brought to our attention by Councilwoman Yancey when we first put the bid out. So when this came out in August, we were ready to go for it at the September meeting. We've tabled it. We wanted to make sure that that was brought up and duly investigated. So we feel comfortable and confident presenting that item now. However, if it's the will, we can be more than happy to do that.
When did you investigate it?
It was, correct me if I'm wrong. It was
We've investigated several things.
When did you investigate it, say so?
The investigation may have taken place actually before the bid even went out was the first investigation, which was prompted us to go out. Again, it was done, correct me if I'm wrong, September 1st. So 2 weeks after it went out, before the actual openings came back. And
so when did you investigate?
I would have to say first early part of September.
When did you email council the findings of that investigation?
None, sir.
Okay, so as we said before, I am of the opinion that council needs to be provided with whatever happened so that we can face our constituency with information. I'm one vote. And I'm not even turning Parish and Parish down. I'm saying, I suggest we table it because there are serious allegations. And I have not, as mayor, and nor has any other council member that I know of, received any findings from any investigation. Who investigated? We don't know. What did they investigate? Nobody knows. What were the findings? We still don't know. Okay. So we are looking at approval or table or disapproval. Michael? You pulled this, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
What's your pleasure?
I'd say we've already, I mean, the city management has already done 60-day looking into it. I'm ready to just vote on it.
Give
That's
me
why
make a motion.
I make a motion that we vote on this resolution.
For, against, table, which one?
I'm voting against it.
You make a motion, we
I
disapprove?
make a motion that we disapprove it.
Very good. Is there a second?
I second.
There's a motion and a second for disapproval. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah,
ahead, Casey.
I think I'm much more inclined to go. I personally feel comfortable with trusting city administration and trusting Kathleen in that, you've looked into it, you found, the mistakes that have been already mentioned, ready to move forward. However, because we also know that, I do agree with the mayor that, there is enough swirling around out there. It doesn't hurt to say, let's put it, and if I understood you correctly, let's kind of officially present some findings to council so that at least council people can feel like, okay, I have all the facts on the table. And also, if there's this much heartburn at the table, then I think that's always a good indication that, let's take a moment, reassess, let's get all the findings on paper and then move forward. Like I said, I don't personally have any problem moving forward with Parish, but I want to respect the feelings and the perspectives of my fellow council people. And that seems to be amenable to me. So I wouldn't say I'm not in favor of, I don't know how to move forward with that. I guess I would vote against that, but unless anyone wants to change it. But my suggestion is, yes, why don't we ask for this to be at the next council meeting or even 2 months or the new year? I don't actually think it's that big of a deal to me, but let's let you guys have some time to just put all that in on paper and then bring it back. And if also asking for a rebid where we could see all the packets in as attachments would be helpful. I know that those are provided and I know we could have them right now if we wanted, but it could be helpful for us to just look at them all together so we can see, oh, this is why this one was removed from the running. Oh, this is why this one is the lowest. So this is the one that gets recommended. So what I'm saying is I'm in favor of tabling for a month to 3 months and proceeding with Parish in the interim and putting it up for rebid.
I think when you think about this from a perspective of a little wisdom, you realize that Parish has not had an opportunity to answer in this setting, right? In this setting, like you are, any allegations that have been made against them. And so they haven't had a chance to have due process in front of this council. So I don't know that I am inclined tonight to vote against them. I think that what I'm saying is we should table so that we can do our due diligence and say, so I know that you looked into it. I really do. The point that I was making was the council does not have anything official from you that we would be able to, in good conscience, vote on an item that has so much controversy associated with it. And that's all I was saying. I do know you did your homework, but we need something here that we would be able to act on. And I think I get where Michael's coming from and where Kim's coming from. We may end up having to vote on this tonight, but I am more in line with what Councilwoman Casey has just suggested. Perhaps we might slow down and allow for more information to be brought forward, not only from the complainants and those that are making the accusations, but also from Parish and Parish. Perhaps they may have a way to verify that we have not seen. Joe, you want to weigh in? No.
I'm a free agent here. I'll defer to you guys on this side, but I just need some clarity.
Yeah.
Do we need the motion withdrawn and then accept the motion to table here?
So what's
30 days?
So what's getting ready to happen is it's up to Kim and Michael. They can ask me to call for the question, which means that they want us to vote on this, or they can be amenable to Casey's friendly suggestion that we table. If they do that, if they want to table, then one of them will have to withdraw their motion. If they want to call a vote, then they'll have to ask me to call for the question. I'm waiting on Kim or Michael. Do you want to withdraw or do you want me to call for the question?
I'm fine with tabling it, but let me just say this.
Go ahead.
And let me be very clear when I say it. I need to make sure the mic is working. There is a pattern where people have liens on their property. And when you go to the county, and I want to make this very clear, because there are threats of a class action lawsuit against our city right now because of lack of backup before this administration, this code compliance. And people have gone to the county and challenged the backup. And that's why the liens have had to be reduced. But think about the people in the past who lost land due to inappropriate documentation. Now, we've since then fixed that loophole. But I'm concerned that the practice was continued with this company. And that, how long has this company been working for the city?
Like 4 years, because they had a 2-year option. I think
So
4
they've been
years,
working here 4
5
years. So only 4 years. So it hasn't been longer than 10. So, and maybe they're getting the residue from before. I don't know. But that may be something that we need to investigate to see, because that's what, I mean, it was very loud. It's been very clear, and we've had to do some things to justify, but it does make you wonder what has happened in the past as far as, there was underbrush this high. Well, I don't say that, maybe this high, okay, on Bellevue. And this administration fixed that, but there were invoices that saying they had cut it. Now that's a problem. Because then you put that invoice and then you put that lien on to the resident. And so that was very disturbing to me. And so to see that happen, and then we got other calls, and I've got other, and I'll give you the names so you can investigate it. But I don't, Mary, with that being said, I don't have a problem with doing due diligence. My constituency though is very upset.
Absolutely.
And they've been watching this meeting tonight because of this issue right here. And I want you to know, Kathleen, I know you're an amazing person, amazing supervisor, and your team is as well. There are some past pains that we have to deal with, and a pattern that has happened in District A, and we're gonna do our best to try to clean that up. But I'm good with tabling. I don't have a problem with tabling, Mike, if you don't.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll retract my motion and table, and then in lieu, table it for 1 month.
Yeah.
So we can, and that way it gives them the parish the opportunity to defend themselves.
Right. And let's be clear. Let's be clear, and then we'll move toward a table. The issue is one of liability. If we are approving a contract with a company that potentially has caused issue with property ownership, and we don't do our due diligence, then those property owners, right? They have legal recourse. By the same token, there are a lot of accusations being made against parish and parish. And if we are not able to verify or validate those accusations, and we take a contract away from a company, and we have not been able to verify that they have not done what was supposed to be done according to that contract, then we are in jeopardy of being liable to that company. So we need documentation. The council needs something more than accusation and comforting words from our staff, although we believe our staff. Nobody's saying we don't. We need some documentation to protect us as a council before we act in either way. So I will entertain the table. Because Michael withdrew his motion.
Yep, I'll make a motion that we table it for 30 days.
He made the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
No discussion on table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Michael. Let's
Thank you.
move to.
Thank you, Kathleen.
let's move to item 10.5. Thank you, Kathleen. Item 10.5, resolution number letter R 2022 0085, ratifying the agreement between the city of Lamarck and the Lamarck Police Union. I believe the correct name is the Lamarck Police Officers Association. I'm looking for a police officer. Is that right,
Corporal King.
Conan? Okay. Okay. Let the record reflect, the agreement is between the city of Lamarck and the Lamarck Police Officers Association. Cesar, would you like to start?
After many meetings and discussion, we've met agreement in principle to a tentative agreement between the union and the city based on approval here tonight. We're open for any discussion or questions. I would like to note that the union president, Corporal King, is here. Should you have any questions from either of us? And if I may, assuming passing of both of these items, we would like to have a ceremonial signing of the agreement. Should that be allowed right after, if that's possible.
Like right after tonight?
Actually, after, during manager report, if we can, once these items are all passed, if that's okay.
Okay.
After the meeting.
After the meeting.
Yeah.
After the meeting. We'll have it, we'll have it after the meeting. Conan, do you have anything you'd like to add on behalf? And you don't have to. I just wanted to give you the opportunity on behalf of the Lamarck Police Officers Association.
The association would love to thank the city for having the opportunity to sit down with us and talk with us. And, our negotiations were fruitful and both sides, came to an agreement. Both sides recognized the problems that both had. And we came to a mutual agreement that, helps support the officers and support citizens of the city of Lamarck.
Thank you. Thank you. Council, do you go ahead and say so?
And just on that note, as part of both agreements tonight, that was etched into both agreements, both of fire and police. One of the notes that we talked about was a specific mental health services necessary for our officers and for all of our public safety staff. That was embedded. We will have a tri-departmental subcommittee who will get together to get the scope of work together so we can work on an RFP that we'll send out for all of our public safety staff to make sure that they have the help that they need. And it will be a 9-member committee, 3 from fire, 3 from police, and 3 from admin that will be part of that committee.
Okay. Good. Very good. Go ahead, Casey.
I want to talk about that. I saw that in there and I got excited because I do appreciate the fact that our plans that we had and things that we've been working toward unfortunately couldn't come to fruition because of loss of budget. But I was really excited to see this in here, and I wondered, think you already answered it, but I want to clarify that, it'll be made up of fire department, police union, and police department, and who else?
So the idea is to have the admin side of it would be fire chief, police chief, and HR. So those would be the 3 bodies. And then each union would have up to 3 members that they can bring to the table. That way it would be a very collective work group. Look at what other cities do, collect best practices, and then compile our own RFP based on
And would it then also be that members of the committee they would be charged with coming up with the RFP for a mental health professional that would then serve anyone associated with the first responders?
Absolutely.
So that's our telecommunicators, everybody.
Anybody that serves in any type of
Cool.
public safety.
Well, I think that this is I wish we were able to do it the other way so that we can make it happen faster. But I also like the fact that there seems like there's a lot of other good that could come out of this. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm really grateful to all of the first responders who were a part of making this element happen. So I'm really, really appreciative of that.
Did not fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I had a very specific question. It's like changing tack immensely. It'll probably feel harsh, but in the contract, and I think this is as Gus, I'm definitely going to need your help with this one. So I went back to my notes from when we were looking at this last year around the same time. And it looked like to me, like this version was essentially the same as what we ended up with in negotiations last year, except for COLA and whatnot. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
What we tried to do, that was from last time, taking some lessons we learned from the last time, is come up with a document. The city of Lamar, not unique to the city of Lamar, had a document, had a PDF that had been converted from Word to PDF probably
Yeah.
100 times.
Yeah.
And the formatting and the page numbers, and for everyone, it just got, I mean, at the end of it, we were with scissors and tape
Mm-hmm.
for a tentative agreement. So what all of this started with is the city in the negotiating teams both. I appreciate the union's patience and understanding with us in getting a Word document so that when this is done again, because this is only 3 years, the city has a Word document that it can use so that the sides can easily redline.
Mm-hmm.
So that when somebody calls Corporal King, or somebody calls Caesar, or somebody calls me, or somebody calls our successors, they can point to a page number and they can go right to in a table of contents that is correct. These are all that took a good amount of our time, and that's something we really tried to do for the benefit of everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
And a lot of the content that we sort of ended up with at that time, it's the same here, right? Or maybe not a lot, like it is the same.
The negotiating, what the union and the city mainly negotiated on were economic terms.
That's what I thought. Okay. I had one specific question around, it's under miscellaneous provisions under personnel files. And I remember speaking to you about this about a year ago, but I wanted to get clarification again about it today. So there's one, I think it's number, I'm gonna refer to the wrong thing. So anyway, it's under personnel files, and it talks about how there's the wait time of 6 months and an officer can request for a letter of reprimand or to be removed, which I'm in favor of. But I did want to get clarification around records that relate to complaints that result in suspensions or demotions or terminations or resignations, especially those that are around allegations of sexual misconduct, violence, and whatnot. What about those? Are those allowed to be removed after 6 months by request, or are those like forever in the file?
So the removal relates only to items with letters of counseling or letters of reprimand. So if it's going to be suspension or higher, those are not items that are eligible. Now, I would say that there are other statutory issues at play with those that, of course, the city complies with. So
Okay.
but that's what that deals with.
Okay, that's right. But things like of that nature, allegations of that nature, those don't fall under that letters of counsel or letters of reprimand, because those would fall typically, if there's that kind of allegation, that would lead to investigation, and that's a different course.
Yeah. Your civil service personnel file is a function of not only our CBA, not only the police CBA, but also Chapter 143 of the local government code. And that section is going to speak very specifically to items that the city may put in there, items the city may not put in there. And of course, the city does comply with those provisions. And those provisions act as, for lack of a better term, gap fillers when the CBA does not speak to that.
And then I have one other question. Thank you. And one other question specifically about the contract. And I don't think it actually is probably something that ends up in the contract, but it directly pertains to it. And that is under internal investigations when it's talking about conduct of interview or conducting an interview. I remember in discussions last year, I went back and forth a lot about, I had a lot of feelings and concerns around requiring a notarized affidavit. And I noticed that's not in here, that it's signed in front of an officer, a receiving officer.
Yes, that is something that we negotiated on last year. And
That's what I remembered. And I just wanted to bring that up and say thank you to the union, because that was of something that I felt was of utmost importance, to relay to our citizens that they are encouraged to speak up and to trust the police. I just, that meant a lot to me, that was something that the police union was willing to negotiate on. I also understand from the police department side that also you want there to be ways of accountability for citizens too. So we're not pursuing any complaint that ever comes in on a post-it note. And under that section, it says also that the city can designate another location other than the police department.
That, yeah.
And I wanted to ask, do we have a way, like, how do we currently let citizens know about that?
I guess, I want to be careful how I answer this just to stay on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm
But,
sorry.
The complaint process, and I believe we say it, but complaints about, city employees can be addressed to the city manager. And
Okay.
he has a,
Okay. I can see.
a
So it goes,
process.
I can deal with my question in a different way at a different time. Well, so great. Then I really appreciate the good faith and the patience too from the police department, because I know this was a long process, and I also know that you guys were really, really willing to work with the city over the course of the last year, and the extension and this process. And huzzah. Thank you for answering my questions.
Any other questions?
We did move approval.
Hearing none. What'd you say, Kim?
She asked all of it.
Okay, Joe is moving approval. Is there a second?
I second.
Hearing any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 10. Where are we?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
10-6,
Corporal
item
King.
10-6. Resolution number letter R-2022-0086, ratifying an agreement between the city of Lamarque and the Lamarque Fire Association. Michael, did you pull this one as well?
No, Joe pulled.
Joe.
Well, both of us did.
Mr. Martinez is here with us. Welcome, Jody. And I guess we want Jody to.
Oh, well, just like Mr. King said, I think, speaking on behalf of 3282, which is what we call ourselves, a local. I think it's a win not only for us and the firefighters, but also a win for you, Mr. Mayor, Council, City Manager, and the citizens of Lamarque. I think everybody wins with this. We did the same thing. We did an extension for a year to give the city some sort of organization at the time.
Yeah.
And we sat at the table. It was very nice. I think this is my first round of negotiations, doing this for about 15 years. My first time to be lead negotiator, and that was a really good experience. I think we're good with it. We didn't change the contract much. It's pretty standard. We got a unanimous vote as well from our table on the tentative agreement. So we're good to go. And we want to thank y'all and the citizens of Lamarque.
Very good, Jody. Let's let the record reflect that your organization is the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3282.
That's correct.
Does council have any discussions or any questions for either Jody or Cesar or Mr. Merriman, who's in the back?
Oh, Mayor, my comment, I really had comment both to the police and the fire. I wanted to express personally my thanks to you guys for being amenable to work with the city in transition, right? To give us that breathing for that year and then finalize this agreement working with the mayor and the city manager and our city attorney. I would watch the proceedings, the negotiations, and I've been in my past life a participant in some negotiations with unions on the East Coast, and there were nothing like what occurred here during these negotiations. So I compliment you guys, and it is, I think, a win for the citizens of Lamarque. It is, just as I said earlier, I love the fact that it feels like a hometown, you know, and we're all working and rowing this boat in the same direction. Thank you both.
Absolutely, thank you.
I agree. Let the record reflect that both the police and the fire unions for several years I have come to the negotiations with open minds, with the willingness to sacrifice and to work with the city. And that goes a long way to make the negotiations very productive and peaceful, and it builds good faith between the administration and the union. And that's what I saw. And I've been on both sides of the table, and I've seen contentious negotiations and even threats of impasse in my past life. And so to see unions working together, and the funny thing, say, so you know this, both of our unions did the majority of the work. They had homework and they went back and they brought figures and they did research and they represented themselves really well.
I have no comments on it. I'll entertain any questions. I want to thank both
I have
groups
questions.
for their comments on it and their leadership. That they came, they were all prepared, and we met and we came to terms. And we found a meeting ground, which was what was important to move this item as with police to move both of them forward.
Very good. Very good. Michael, you had some questions?
Yes. Now, last year, we as a council all said in one voice that we wanted to make sure that we had qualified people on those engines. When I looked over this contract, there's a provision that I would like to suggest as a friendly addition. Section Article 32, promotional exams, Section 3, where it states the fire chief may make appointments to the clarification of captain and engineer in lieu of testing or in lieu of conducting a promotional exam as otherwise required by Article 32, Section 3. As a friendly addition, I would like to say, as long as they're certified to those positions as outlined in the job description. Because we all spoke in one voice that we want to make sure that we don't have a firefighter right out of basic school in charge of a scene. So that's one friendly addition I'd like to make.
Okay. Michael, say that again. As long as they
as they are certified to those positions outlined
according to our
in the job description.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure that Kiara got all what you said.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
And then another thing I saw was under Article 26 miscellaneous provisions, there's a conflict between the first and second paragraph in Section 1. It talks about training. The first paragraph states, quote, ... only regular house cleaning and maintenance tasks will be performed on cities recognized holidays and weekends. And then the next paragraph, it goes on to state that training hours are from 8 to noon on Saturday. That's kind of confusing because one paragraph says we only do house cleaning. The other one says we can train on Saturdays. So a friendly suggestion that we clean that language up to either we train on Saturdays, we don't train on Saturdays. And then Article 1, when it talks about definitions, definition of an employee, it talks about the EMS coordinator, talks about the fire marshal, and it talks about the fire chief and the deputy chief are exempt. Well, you guys are wanting to add assistants down the road.
Not local 3282, the administration of the fire.
Well, are they going to be union members? Or are they not going to be union members? Because if they are, I mean, are they exempt or they're not?
Discussed.
Huh?
Those positions don't.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
positions
council
don't-
member, yeah,
They don't
that,
exist right now. So
yeah, that doesn't
Okay,
exist
but
and
see,
it
we're-
wasn't negotiated on.
But we just talked about budget. They want to add 2 more assistants. So we're not even looking at the future.
Hold
And this
up
contract's for
a
2
minute.
years.
Hold up a minute. Hold up. Let's back up. Let's go. What do you need to say?
So I was just gonna say that the employees, as far as future employees and how and whether they are union members or not, was not negotiated on.
And you said that to say what?
I said that to say that it's, I mean.
It's off agenda?
It's off the table
Okay.
essentially now.
So you're pulling us back in.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
and it's not something that was negotiated on in the in the actual negotiating session.
So
let's
for the
stick to
next,
what's.
so for the
negotiated.
next 3 years, then we're not going to hire anyone. Is that what we're saying? Because it's not negotiated? That's not the right answer.
No,
'Cause
I don't think that's what we're saying. I think that we can't discuss anything that is outside of this contract language is what
Okay.
Gus is
Right,
inferring.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and that in the future, where the city is in 3 years and how many, and what its fire department looks like in 3 years would form the basis of, and then the city's experience with this contract would form the basis of that.
Okay, but during the budget hearings, we talked about adding 2 positions.
But those are two different, this is a
Right,
contract.
but are they going to be union personnel? Or are they
We,
not
we,
going to
we,
be?
we don't, we're off topic. He's saying we're off topic. So we can't even have a discussion about that because it's not on our
Okay.
agenda.
Well, see, that's,
So what we can do, Michael, what we can do is we can bring that discussion back up under a different agenda. We can do that. We can discuss the role and responsibility as fire officers, fire department. We can do that on another agenda. Gus is saying we can't continue to discuss it on this agenda.
okay.
And
Okay.
Councilman Carlson, as president of Local 3282, I would say that me and my e-board would be more than willing to sit down with you and discuss any of your concerns over that nature.
Well, I think in the future, when we talk about union negotiations, if the council has to sign off, we should be involved in it. That's my problem. We weren't involved. The last negotiations, the council was involved. And that's where I have the heartburn, because now we can't even talk about future positions. And that's where I have issues.
I get it.
Because this sets forth either A, we don't hire those positions because it's not in the contract.
I know, Michael, I know you're passionate about it.
And yeah, exactly.
I know. And I'm saying to you, we can discuss this on a different agenda. We cannot continue to
Okay, well,
press.
that's fine.
on-
But in the
you get
future,
what
I
I'm saying?
think,
I'm with you. We can
I
do it.
think the whole council needs to be in negotiations.
Absolutely.
Not the way it ran this year.
Well,
Previous years, the whole council was involved. I sat on those.
let's, okay.
But
Let's,
so anyway, my
Yeah.
2 friendly suggestions, seeing as third one is irrelevant, is that we add the words to that. As long as they are certified to the positions outlined in the job descriptions. Is that something is that something feasible for you guys for the contract to make a small
but that-
amendment?
Gus, go.
Can we make that?
That would put greater restrictions upon the city.
How so? Because we all spoke last year
Right.
that we wanted certified people on those trucks.
I understand that, but right now, the city as a management right has the authority to promote who the chief decides. If we, the city, in the CBA say they must be certified, we, the city, are putting additional restrictions on who may be promoted. That the union has not asked us for, we would be.
Okay, well, question is, what if I don't want to sign this contract? Because I don't agree with it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, the council as a whole will vote, and the council as a whole, the majority's decision will control.
So let's
Okay.
let
Well-
Michael be heard. Let's be clear on what Michael can do, because I
The
want him to be
biggest
heard.
issue I have is, like I said, we talked about as a council, one voice. We all said we wanted people certified on those trucks.
And that's okay, Michael. So what?
And so, I mean, a friendly suggestion
There you
was
go.
to add that in there.
There you go. And so what all Gus is saying, Gus is telling us that if we do that, are you saying that's illegal? Yes or no?
It's not.
He's not saying it's illegal, so he's not saying you can't do it. He's simply saying if we do it as a council, it will restrict our pool of promotion eligible applicants. Now, we can
Well,
still
that's
do it.
fine,
Right, we
because
can still
we've
do it.
talked for a year.
So now you have to, so Michael, if you're making a friendly amendment to this, is that what you're doing now?
I thought, no, we're in the discussion phase still, I thought.
Right, but what I'm saying is are you going to ask us to?
Yes, I'm
okay.
gonna
Okay.
ask that because for a year, we've talked about getting people getting
Okay,
people
okay.
certified.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you got people in the fire department right now that haven't even taken a certification test in over
Okay.
a year.
Got you. Let's do
And
this.
that's where I have issues.
I got you. Let's do this. Let's get to a point where you can continue moving this discussion forward. Are there any other questions for Jody or for Cesar or for Merriman? Go, Joe.
I do have a point of information, please.
Go ahead. Go, Joe.
Just some clarity. Any amendments that this council would make or suggest, would we have to defer on actions because you would have to take it back
That's-
to either?
That's
your
the
executive
point. That's the
board?
point I was gonna make on that.
So, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
I would like to hear, I noticed that you came up, Mr. Vice President. I would love to hear what y'all might have to say about this, because
Kind of like that.
yeah, I love that. I love that.
I mean, so currently motions, there is testing, there's an interview panel, and there is a series of processes for you to promote. You have to have certain certifications to promote, so I don't think, anybody's just getting promoted just to get promoted.
Right. Everybody that's in the uniform on a truck has both their certifications.
And there's a minimum requirement of certifications to be on that truck.
And the chief, his discretion gives, in which 3282 doesn't give any fuss over, certainly the time to grab these certifications at the beginning of the process of the promotion.
Mhm.
Give you a little window. That's a
Mhm.
pretty standard practice in the fire service. In this country.
And that's where I have the issue. We've given you guys a year to get those certifications.
Well, I'm sorry, you put a group of 27 special firefighters don't have the certifications that you're failing.
No, my statement is you got people in the fire.
Okay, here
service.
we go. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get more questions from council if they so choose to get questions. Once that's done, then somebody's gonna make a motion to approve or disapprove or to table or whatever.
Okay.
Once that's done, we'll let Michael make his amendment and then the council will vote on it and then we'll move forward. It's time to move forward one way or the other. Kim, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Casey, you good?
No, I'm good. Thank
Joe?
you. Thank you.
Michael, any other questions outside of what we talked about?
Nope.
All right, I am going to then from council entertain a motion to approve, disapprove, or table.
I make a motion that we table.
You make a motion to table. Is there a second?
Okay.
I'd like to know the ramifications if we table. Like, impact of tabling, because obviously this is ready to move forward now.
Gus,
I
can you
mean,
answer that question?
Briefly, yes, that there are some carryover provisions in the current CBA. But I mean, there is a tentative agreement on the table. There's nothing at the staff level that we can do right now.
Mhm.
It requires the negotiating team has done, or teams have done what we were tasked to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I say all that to say I'm not sure that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we get you guys. So there was a table. I don't know that Michael,
It was never seconded.
it was
so-
never seconded, so I think that it might die one more time. Is there a second to this table? Hearing none, the table, motion to table dies for the lack of a second. So now we are entertaining a motion to approve or disapprove.
Disapprove, motion to approve of the contract.
Contract, yes.
Yeah, I'll move.
Joe moves to approve the contract. Is there a second?
A second.
There's a second. Come on, Michael. Come on with your amendment.
And technically, we have a tentative agreement on the table.
Yeah. I don't
So really amendments to this are not appropriate at this time.
think- that's what I'm saying.
I want to give him,
And of course,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
because I mean,
But it
we would begin we would begin the process of having negotiations in public, and the union's already approved something.
I agree. I guess what I'm asking you for direction is this, and then I'll get Joe in. I have a council member who's passionate about this. Direct me. Let me know, tell me what I need to do so that we can stay within our legal framework.
Sure.
I want to make sure that he feels that he is heard.
Well,
Yeah, while you're doing that, Gus, let's let Joe come in.
Let me say this. I share Councilman Carlson's concern or observation that as the practice was in past years where the entire council was involved in these negotiations, that did not happen here, either on the police side or the fire side. Now, and having said that, I took it upon myself on my own initiative to monitor the negotiations because they were on Zoom. You guys had these on Zoom. And to the extent that I could participate, and I took my notes, and I think I may have passed on some ideas that I heard on that as well too. So I think that's number one, that perhaps we can improve the process. It's in the future to have some timeouts during this process so that you, Mr. City Manager, and you, Mr. City Attorney, can come back and provide us the rest of, if we're going to proceed with this, the method that was used this year, to provide council members an update on negotiating points and things of this nature, so that we can provide some input during that process. That's number one. Number two, am I accurate in saying this, Gus, as well as our fire association? If there are other issues that we need to address, such as the ones Councilman Member Carlson has pointed out, we can go ahead and move approval of this agreement, but we can still have ongoing discussions with regard to amendments of the contract with the approval of the fire union. Yeah, on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, so I need help me, Gus, because I think there might be another way we can solve this for Michael too.
Yes, so the negotiating team has met. There were ground rules that were set down where we had to give them items we wanted to negotiate on. That is done. If this CBA is approved, I've heard the union say, they've said it in front of all of us, that they are willing to sit down and discuss other items. So we can do that at management and council's convenience. And that team, those members can consist of whoever council chooses. I would say, please don't have a quorum of the council on it, just because for purposes of Open Meetings Act and all of that. But other than that, I mean, that does that answer your question? So the council can approve and meet to discuss amendments that it. Yeah.
Would you all be amenable to immediately entering into a discussion about some of the items that Councilmember Carlson has brought to our attention after this is approved or disapproved?
Well, not
We
today.
would
tonight, man.
We would, Mayor,
You're not leaving.
If I may, what we would do is we would schedule some meetings accordingly, invite folks
There
to
you
be
go.
present. Obviously under the auspice of if we're gonna have a quorum, not have a quorum, make sure that we follow those guidelines. And then schedule a time equal to everybody so we can move this item forward.
Mr. City Manager and Mayor, I would request Councilmember
Absolutely.
Carl to be part of that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, it would be somewhat of a, I don't know, lengthy process, but a little stressed out as everything, just like y'all.
Yeah.
Sure.
And let me say this, let me say this on behalf of my friend Cesar. Cesar got here and put together a negotiating team and move forward without any direction. I don't think that anybody said to him that they wanted him to have a robust team of council members. Nobody said to him that they wanted him to update them weekly or bi-weekly. So Cesar did what he thought was in the best interest of our city when he assembled the team. So let's be clear. The truth is we didn't necessarily give him any clear direction on what we wanted the makeup of the team to be. So that's that needs to be said on Cesar's behalf.
And it's not totally true that all of the council is always involved with all of the
Right.
negotiations. Many of the years when I was on council, it was just Keith, and I trust Keith because of his experience.
Right.
And I think,
Right.
so I just want to make sure it's clear that it's not like every other year, it's been that we all had our hands on it. And then all of a sudden this year it went poof. I think a lot of it has to do, I do agree that the fire CBA in particular sort of fell out of my horizon as well. And I think that's just because of how gung ho we've been and blazing through everything since you got here, Cesar. So, but I also agree. I mean, your input and your particular experience is
Absolutely.
incredibly
Well,
valuable.
That's, yeah,
So-
you got resident experts on this council. I mean,
So, but it sounds like,
so
Duly noted.
it sounds like
Absolutely.
this is, if we are, can I call for the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
With the understanding that the union is very respectfully willing and seems like game, ready to go and talk and meet with Councilman Carlson and anyone else, as long as we're not a quorum. And of course, absolutely. But I call for the question. I think we should vote.
We're going to vote. Thank you, Michael, for your contributions. In all sincerity, thank you for your contribution. This council needed to hear, the community needed to hear your objection, sir, and we appreciate it. Case is called for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
nay.
Show that the contract for the International Association of Firefighter passes 4 in affirmative, 1 in the negative. We are now picking items.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate
Thank you. And yeah, thank you again for the whole spiel I gave to the PD. The same. It's really a lot to have given so much grace and patience to this council and the city when we've had so much change. So thank you very much. And
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you for your faith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are now at the other, it's item, resolution item 10-1 and resolution item 10-3. I'll read those. 10-1, resolution number letter R -2022-0081, award of bid to DXI Industries Incorporated for 2022-2023 chemical purchase for operations in the amount of $113,479. Item 10-3 is resolution number letter R -2022-0083, ratifying payment to premium pumps in the amount of $45,708. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
The second,
A second.
there is no discussion on the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're now to item 11, city manager's report. Say so.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask members of our library team that are here to please come forward to be recognized. We wanted to point out that they have once again reached their annual accreditation and want to share this with our great folks, our library director, Miss Amy Miller.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Congratulations.
Every year we submit an application for accreditation to the Texas State Library based on many things, and the staff is very helpful in gathering those monthly statistics and compiling in in a year-to-year end format. They track our programs, our circulation, and it's also based on the amount of money that we expend each year. And that's our maintenance of effort, which I went over briefly when I gave a presentation earlier this spring. But that maintenance of effort number, because of council support and our support that we received from Galveston County, we were easily able to meet that, meet and exceed that minimum number. So we look forward to, we'll begin the report for fiscal year 2022 in January. So I'll have more news about that next spring.
And so this badge that's listed will be properly displayed, whether through window clings or any other form of marketing to let all of our patrons know that we are a accredited library, and to add some more credibility to our program for the hard work that our library team does.
Did we have that last year?
Just to be clear, we've been accredited for a long time, right? I was gonna say,
We
like,
just-
like decades, right? Okay.
Yes.
But
The city manager wanted us to,
Yeah, just wanted.
I just really wanted to make sure that folks recognized the fact that we are, accredited, and make sure that we have that opportunity to really showcase the hard work that our staff continues to do.
Absolutely. I'm
Thank you.
definitely in favor of anytime we celebrate the library. Just also wanted to make sure no one thought we weren't accredited before this. Thanks, you
Thank
guys.
And Amy, we were talking about history of Lamarck. Did you see this item? I think, Sally, did
I
you
don't
bring
know.
him this often? I'll hand it to you. And I was just noticing
Joe,
the
stay
name.
on the agenda, dude. What
Yeah,
you
the
doing?
Carl Capolino there.
Joe just
I think
willing
I
and
went to
dealing,
school
just
with.
passing papers across the room.
There you go.
Yo, you gonna get time out.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's fun as well.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks, Tom. Just building houses in your free time, huh, Tom? All right. 11-2. Go ahead, Cesar.
Yes, our light study update, want to just give a brief update. We said we try to come to you, if not biannually, hopefully quarterly with an update. We had a lofty goal. We wanted to make sure that we got to, hoping to get to 100 lights, transition to LED. So total, we've had 75 lights transition to LED, and Rick is on as well. He's actually at the water conference right now, but he want to commend him, his team, and the staff for leading this. The best part about this, and someone made this comment, that there's 20 new streetlights on Lake Road that was considered Zone 1. So tonight, if you'd like to go down Lake Road and just drive it back and forth, as I often do at night, just to see how well lit that street is. We're not done, but that was a point of reference that staff really wanted to make sure that we address first. So I want to commend Texas, New Mexico. This is just what they have done so far. They've got 709 streetlights in the city, and they've already converted 10% of those. So we're very happy with the progress made. Remember, this is part of our 4-year plan, and in the first quarter, we've already exceeded that goal, and we want to continue moving that forward.
That's awesome. Well done.
Good.
So,
And one point, sir, I did verify those 20s were not included in that 75 count, and the update that I got from Texas, New Mexico is actually we're over 100 lights right now. Because they did not have those work orders turned in on those 20s when she ran the report for the 75. So my comment in that agenda item that I presume that they were part of the 62 count was incorrect, and she pretty much confirmed that the count was over 100 at this point.
Oh.
So even more good news.
Are you saying it's even better than is reported here, Rick?
But wait.
Yes.
That's great.
But wait, there's more. On that point, want to take a moment. Rick and his team, we have a very brief slideshow of some additional funds. TxDOT gets a lot of scrutiny, but we have been strengthening that relationship. Rick, if you want to talk real quickly about this new off-system bridge replacement program that we're working with TxDOT on.
Yes, one of our bridges in the city made the list on this off-system bridge replacement program. It was inspected by TxDOT bridge inspectors. It's the Oak Street drainage ditch bridge located close to the cemetery. The match for the city is 10% on that project, but we can also get that match waived by submitting a project that would qualify underneath their equivalent. And we've submitted that, or we are submitting one for the Wisteria drainage system, which is also on that eastern part of Lamarque. And basically drains through this drainage canal across Oak, so it's all tied together. So that Wisteria drainage project has already been preliminary engineered, and we're prepared to submit that to TxDOT for their evaluation. That would offset the $66,550 that the city's match would be on this project. This is a slow process that happens. Nothing, they won't do any bidding until late of 2023. But we can submit the project. They're willing to take a look at that. So the process over the next part of this year would be to get that project submitted. They'll evaluate it and let us know. But the project itself will not be bid until later in 2023, as far as the actual construction of the bridge. And we will keep City Council updated as that process goes forward.
Thank you very much, Rick.
This is another effort of us continuing to plant seeds, make relationships, and try to address needs. As we know, nationwide, our bridges have been faulting, and we will continue to address any safety needs and concerns. Best part of this is ultimately, if our match is approved for that other project, that will get the entirety of this project, that actual fee waived, so we continue to move this item forward. So safety first, and making sure that we bring those continued support for our residents throughout our entire city. Mayor, that concludes our actual report. And if you have any questions on anything that I presented, if not.
Council have any questions?
No,
No, thank you.
thank you.
very
Exciting
much.
stuff.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good. We're now at 12 appointments, and I don't see anything under here, Kiara. So you.
No, this is just a little moment for me to let you all know that annual appointments are coming up. All of your 2022 appointments expire in December. You all will be receiving, I think it's scheduled to go out first thing in the morning, an email of what appointments you have that are expiring. I've been working with the staff liaisons to contact those members with expiring memberships, just to see who's still interested in participating. They will have to go through a reapplication process as set out by the boards and commissions ordinance that you all have, and just letting you know that you guys have quite a few that are coming up. So if you have anybody in mind, try to get them to get those applications in. Same for the community. If you know anyone who wants to serve on a board or commission, please fill out an application. You can do it in person at City Hall or on the website. Thank you.
Kiara, so you said that according to our ordinance, you are contacting existing members to see if they are interested in continuing to serve.
Yeah, I personally may not be making.
No, I
that
mean,
call, but
we as a city,
the
we
is
are
going to
as a
contact
city.
everyone.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure that we are clear on that. Thank you. Let's move to item 13, new business. Items presented to council for discussion and for council to provide direction. Item 13.1, volunteer appreciation dinner. Mayor Bell recommendation to rename volunteer appreciation dinner to the Clint Brown Volunteer Appreciation Dinner and improving the event. I had a thought this past week about how we go about honoring our volunteers and encouraging them to continue in their volunteerism. Last year, we reestablished our volunteer appreciation dinner. It was something that was really popular. Back in previous years, it allowed for us to continue to grow our volunteer base. Somehow we got away from that. And last year we started that with about maybe 20 to 25 members attending our dinner on last year. We have had a recent passing of many of our city leaders. When you think about the Mac McGaffeys of the world, who have passed recently, the Deanie Barretts of the world, the Mayor Geraldine Sams of the world, and certainly the former council member Clint Brown. I believe that we need to carry on the tradition of volunteerism and service, those folks that I just named, that they provided for our city. We are as a community discussing how we go about renaming buildings and facilities. And so we will look toward that for some other ideas. But tonight I wanted to see if council would ratify the idea that I had that we would rename our volunteer appreciation dinner after former council member Clint Wayne Brown, because he was one of the most active volunteers in our community well into his 80s. And I think that that is an honor that is deserving for such a person. As well as I think that we should add some fun to the event. So my idea would be this. I think that we have the capability, Cesar, to have surveys online. And so my idea would be that we would list all of our volunteer committees online for a survey, and then the community would be able to vote based on what they see throughout that calendar year for their favorite volunteer committee. So what it would look like would be you would have the Parks Board, and you would have the Building Standards Commission, and you would have the Keep the Marque Beautiful Commission, and all of these would be listed. And as the citizens see throughout the year the work that these committees have done, perhaps in October, we open up some sort of voting where the citizens can go on our website and vote for their favorite committee. And then at the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner, we would then be able to provide an award for that committee of the year. I think that it would show, again, appreciation for our volunteers. It would honor the type of service that we support in our community, like Clint Wayne Brown did, serve like he served, but also it would provide for a way of excitement and interest and inspiration for our committees to do more. If you know that at the end of the year, you might be considered for committee of the year, if you're Keep the Marque Beautiful, you might work harder, not that they don't work hard. If you are Building and Standards, you might attend more meetings. If you're the Parks Board, you might come up with innovative ideas. I think that, again, Council, this is something that is a feel-good gesture that we can do to honor a great public servant and invite our community into more engagement with its committees. And I'll stop on that. Does anybody have any questions for me in my thought process?
Mayor, I support this effort, right? You know, Mr. Brown and Councilmember Brown and his family too. I just want to point out, as I've discussed with these items only provide direction, and I think we're not even going to be able to per se.
We have a meeting on the 17th, so
Mhm.
that was the.
So Claire, tell me tell us what you're trying to say.
Oh, yeah. So the mayor pro tem is correct. These items are noticed for discussion and to provide direction to staff with what. So for
Right.
renaming it, we would bring you a resolution.
Absolutely.
And
Sure.
we would do
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Does that answer your question, Mayor Pro
Yeah,
Tem?
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
that's to all of these, like the
That's
plat,
correct.
the plat.
Yeah,
Everything.
Yeah. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we introduced it to council, and if y'all thought it would be something that would be nice, a nice gesture, we can move forward with it. So is there any other discussion on this?
That was confusing for me. So I don't really know what just happened here. I'm totally in favor of renaming the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner. I don't think it's really up for us to discuss right now, the idea of voting, creating a voting or
Right.
putting online. I have ideas about that too. I love the idea of trying to buoy and build up that event. But yes, I'm in favor. I'll let anyone else comment on it.
Kim, you good? Say so. Would you, as you craft this policy, because we're giving you direction, would you incorporate Councilwoman McAuliffe's ideas as well?
Certainly.
Very good. Do we need is that good enough, Gus, or do we need to give official direction?
As long as as long as staff has heard what he needs to hear, I think that's fine.
Okay,
As
does
long
anybody
as
have,
council feels they've spoken?
does anybody disagree with this? Very good. Let's move now to item 13.2, Capital Improvements Plan Advisory Committee. Say so.
Yeah, I'd like to take a brief moment. Thank you guys for your continued support. We've had several focus group meetings. Started with the large capital improvement meeting we had. We've narrowed that down to a smaller focus group, and to encourage continued participation for not only our capital improvement plan, but attacking our enterprise side of the house as far as the clear direction that residents have given on their priority being their water, streets, parks, and then, a public safety building. Those categories were split up. We've gotten really good traction, and I'd like your authority to create an actual ad hoc committee to actually do that. So whether it be a advisory committee that we could kind of vet some of these things through to get some more continued focus group work done, just to kind of get more feedback from the community on that sense. No different than how you've allowed me to do it before, but this would be a formal process to have that. So if you would like for me to do that, just to have a formal meeting. We had informal meetings, but just to kind of keep this moving forward, whether it be a capital improvement advisory committee or any other, name or a nature.
I would be inclined to support that. So long as the council has the power to ratify those selections. Obviously, we want to make sure those persons that are serving,
Absolutely.
we understand and know who they are. I
Absolutely.
don't have any objection outside of that.
Yep. The idea would be to hopefully get at least 2 appointments from each one of you.
Okay.
So we can get the ball rolling. We want to make sure we have collective public input that is just genuine and really about moving our actual processes forward.
Very good. Any questions for item 13.2 for Cesar?
And so it would move, if you're asking for appointments from us, they would be official appointments. So it would move from being just the city manager is calling a meeting and you're inviting
Correct.
people to, it is now one of our boards and commissions.
Right.
Just to make it more of a formal.
I'm fine with that. I was just trying to put a fine point on whether it was.
And it'll be an ad hoc,
An ad hoc.
Casey, and it wouldn't be an ordinance or one that's formally.
So it would be like our public safety committee
Right, and it'll go away when.
or public safety building committee.
Right.
Forgive me.
Correct.
Okay, so it's one of that.
Correct.
All right.
So it won't be a permanent standing.
Okay. I'm in favor of that.
Any other questions on 13.2? You got enough direction, Cesar?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Item 13.3. That you, Cesar? Is that?
No, I just wanted to take a moment. We will have to obviously bring this back as a resolution item, but to announce a preliminary plat that is being presented by our development services team as a it's labeled Ocean, but similar to a growing chain of car washes that have begun to merge into the South Texas area. This is one that we'll be happy to have in our community, and I'll ask Ms. Kathleen to speak on that. As you know, we have on 2004 the new O'Reilly's that's going up, and this will be adjacent to that, Ms. Kathleen?
Yes. Yes, this is located on FM 1764, where the entrance to the dog track is. Just to the right of that is where the Ocean, you've seen the sign there, Ocean Car Wash.
Yeah.
It is a major chain. It's been there they've been planning on this for years. And this is just, we need you to approve the preliminary plat so we can move forward.
Oh,
It's right. It'd be using the same entrance as O'Reilly's does.
Any questions for Kathleen on this issue? Any objections to this issue? Oh, go ahead, Joe. No, you're fine.
It's going to be a stupid question, but I just have
No
to ask
stupid
it,
Stupid questions.
because this is not a Hooters type car wash, is it?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, all right. I just want to be clear.
Oh, no, sir.
All right. I
This
just want to be clear.
is PG, Joe.
Okay, all right,
Oh.
you know,
I
it's
didn't
a
ask
it's a
that.
neighborhood right across, but I don't want the Baptists coming at
We
me.
know what you
All
want.
right. Okay.
It's going to be a really nice car wash. It's not you just drive up and you wash your car.
They're
Thank
fancy.
you.
They're kind of fancy.
Thank
Thank you, Kathleen.
You have monthly subscriptions. that kind of
Thank you, Kathleen. I think it says, you got enough direction?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
13.4, Union, 113 Union.
Let me, I'm sorry, go ahead, read.
Did you want to stay with Kathleen or did you?
No.
Okay, you
I'm
on this
sorry.
one?
Go ahead,
Okay.
yes.
13.4, 113 Union, resolution of claims by a property owner regarding liens placed on 113 Union and authorizing the city manager to act on behalf of the city. Say so.
Certainly. This item was brought to you guys during executive session at the previous meeting. the idea is for us to take a vote on it to move it forward.
Just a point of information. If I'm not mistaken, and Gus, we gave you that authority after we came out of executive session.
I'll let Gus.
No, y'all did not. This would be authorizing the city manager to settle, the amount of it. But no, the council did not give that authority.
Give authority for
Couldn't
us to
find
move
out the
into,
agenda at all.
for us to move towards getting to that point, but the final has to come to you guys for any time we do that.
So you're ready to make a recommendation? Is that what?
This is recommendation, and the other party has agreed to our recommendation that's set forward.
So that's what you're going to bring
You're
back at the
recommending,
next.
so you're bringing this back.
This item, yes, sir.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about it tonight. You will bring this back.
Yep, and I have to
Okay.
come before you as a resolution.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we are now on 13.5 for the good of the order. Say so.
The order.
Those things?
I think all those things were pretty much good of the order. That concludes everything under our manager report and new business. It's been a busy month. The only thing that I like to point out to make sure is to note all of our city events that are coming up. I want to commend our fire and our police staff for all their hard work on the National Night Out. And also on that Thursday, Chief, who I believe was still here, scurried back and made it out for Coffee with a Cop. We got rave reports of that, and we're going to continue doing those types of activities. As far as Bayou Fest, obviously the city signature event will be held this Saturday over at Howland Bayou Park, and we encourage all residents to please be present. We've got 3 great acts. We've got a lot of activity starting at 8 a.m. Fireworks show set to kick off at 10 p.m. So we're hoping everybody can be there. And last but not least, our trunk or treat that our public library is hosting. And our goal is we're still looking for more trunks. We've teamed up with the elementary school next door, so they're going to take care of some trunks as well. So our goal is to get a whole row from the school all the way to the library, if at all possible, that evening. So if any members of any volunteer groups, HOAs, anybody else would like to come out, we're looking forward to make this the biggest trunk or treat event that we've had for our community, to give our residents and the children a safe place to come out and go trick or treat.
Do you mean like go down the street and have them, or
The point is for us to go to see if we can collect, obviously safely crossing the street, to see if we can do a stream of trunks all the way from Haley Elementary all the way to the library.
That's what we did last year.
Yeah, so
Remember we were
our
there?
intention is to
But
expand
no,
it.
we didn't do that last year.
We had trunks, we had cars and the trunks open, and then in Haley, they did the same thing.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
in our parking lot
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their parking
Right, so
lot?
they
I thought you
can't-
meant
so-
along the road. And I was like,
No,
what?
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Close down the street?
No,
What's going on
no,
here?
I
Okay.
apologize. So
Okay.
the idea by us hosting
Got
it
it.
at the same exact time is to
So
make
that
it
there's
bigger and
so that there's
All
more
our
for
trunks
kids.
on.
Love it.
we are coordinating
Love
efforts
it.
to make it a
Okay,
one-time event.
thank you for
everybody to
clarifying for
be-
me. I'm sorry to be
be
so
out
fancy.
and make it bigger and better for all to
Okay.
participate.
It's okay, Casey. I thought the same thing.
Okay, I was just like,
I'm sorry.
dang, that's
I apologize.
like that sounds highly unsafe.
No.
Well, then can I add on, because trunk or treat was the only thing I wanted to talk about, because I love trunk or treat. It's my favorite city event. It combines my four favorite things, which is the library, Halloween, candy, and kids. And I'll be there. My whole family will be there. We have themed costume. I'm very excited.
Okay.
And
Challenge is on.
yeah. It's like I said, it's my favorite event. Sorry to all I know we have lots of great things happening, especially Bayou Fest, but my heart lies with trunk or treat, and it always will. So
Got it.
Good.
Noted.
You want to be last, Kim?
Before the mayor.
All right, so was that yours, Casey?
oh, it was.
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Number 1, outstanding time Saturday on the
National Night Out.
National
I
Night Out.
forgot what it was. Sorry, National Night Out. I loved it. It showed the diversity of our city, number one.
Mhm.
And that was amazing. I sat down with Vaughn over at Omega Bay. I didn't move from the spot that I sat down. Why? Because we immediately started talking about our shared experiences in Costa Rica, and he had lived there as well too, and things of that nature. So I have a new friend there at Omega Bay, as well as Georgia and all the other friends that were there. And Miss Trina at the apartments on here up the street at Bayou and Main Street. Miss Tina, I'm sorry, Tina. And outstanding. I never knew that we have the largest example of rainwater reclamation that is right there at that apartment complex. Go by, it's open, see it. It's, I thought it was in the farm, we used to use those as grain storage, but they're using it for water reclamation over there. And that was just a dynamic to meet the residents out there and to see that particular property, and it was outstanding. And then moving over here to the Lake Road North, Mr. Sorto and his family, recent residents from Memphis, Tennessee, and they bought their house there. And then the other family on the other side of DeLon, and they also very quietly have lived there for 5 years. And they, at the very end, they came up, they had 3 delightful children. I think JP treated them for a little while, took care of them. And he came up and says, what's in Spanish? What's the purpose of this? I just want to know what are you guys really out here? And explained to them it was building community and encouraging the relationships between fire and police, that we could all trust each other to be dependent. And his only comment, this would never happen in Mexico. So I love that too on that side. So that shows community as well too. And were those the stops that we made? And then back at the library with Amy and the wonderful home
Lake
baked
Road South,
cookies.
Lake Road North.
Yeah, Lake Road. That's right. And the Mr. Morris over here and up here on Lake Road South. That was outstanding to get together with the community out there too. So amazing opportunity and time, and always too our police and fire and other staff just with a big smile on their faces and be really welcoming. So I also want to thank the mayor, and I want to thank Councilmember Yancey for the super time that we had at TML. It was not parties, folks. I want to convey this to you. If you have an interest in running for city council, you better be prepared for a very different environment. You better be prepared for going to class and take lots of notes, because city management or the work of city council members is very intense. One of the big items that was discussed during those meetings in San Antonio was, once again, we're going to be challenged as municipalities, because our great legislature is going to be coming into session again and later. And they already have on their books fully a third of bills out there that are possibly going to impact cities. And once again, just like the last time, they will pass laws and not give us any money to follow through on implementing those laws. So be a voice out there, and hopefully we'll be I for one will be keeping us updated on the challenges that we have on that side. So it was, once again, it was just an amazing trip, an amazing opportunity with our National Night Out. And I thank all of you for that too. Thank you.
I want to thank the volunteers that helped out this weekend at Bobby Beach Park. And it wasn't just Mr. Loftus, it was a couple other people that came out. The Marque Girls Softball Association have been put notice out there saying, hey, if you want to volunteer, go and help out at Bobby Beach Park. So that's great that the community's working together. Even though it's a girls softball, they want to help out the boys with baseball. So that's great community relations there. So I want to thank them both for that. National Night Out, I saw the pictures. I appreciate the fire department for going out there doing what they do every day. Appreciate the police department for doing the same thing. It means a lot to the citizens. Bayou Fest is coming up. My wife's looking forward to seeing Stony LaRue. So I'm gonna oblige her and listen to country music.
Yeah.
You won't get me to wear a cowboy hat though. But I'll go out there and listen. Trunk or treat's coming up. So with that, Halloween's coming up too. So be careful of the little ghouls and ghosts and goblins that are out. They may not be bigger than the bumper of your car, so be careful and watch out for them. And the last thing, city manager, can you check into seeing what it would cost to repave, or I'm sorry, not repave, restripe all the streets? Delaney, you can't even tell anymore. I know Bayou just got done, but we have a lot of streets that the paving has got, the markings have gone away from. Can you check into that?
Certainly. We are looking at doing that, and potentially the investment might be to buy the equipment in order to try to add it to our responsibility to do it in-house because of how much there is to do. So it's been noted. I'm sure Rick is probably off the call, but he's been working on that.
Okay.
We've gotten a lot of complaints about even Lake Road that we are addressing to see the best way we can handle it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And other than that, mayor, city manager, while you guys were gone, the city stayed intact. So
Okay. So let me start by saying that I think that people are obsessed with our progress. And as you can see, we have a lot of progress that is happening in our city. When we went to TML, it was nice to see that some of the things that we are doing in our city is being duplicated in other cities as well. And that's why they won those awards. So we're right on base with, we're right on target for what makes a city a good city to live in. Some of the awards that we did see that cities received were some of the things that Joe and I have talked about and Keep Lamarck beautiful when it came to citizens actually using tools, borrowing tools to fix up their own community. And I know we were sitting there going, we had that idea, so it was nice to see like-mindedness happening and also knowing that we're on the right track, regardless of what a few may say. And let me say this, we are going to our next level in our city. And unfortunately, not everybody wants to go to that next level of excellence. And I'm glad that we're trying to do that as a community. I do want to do this because if we can get an ad hoc committee for youth services going and get some young people and adults on that committee as we talk about trying to build community within our youth, because we do have 4 to 5 school districts here. And I know you and I talked about that. The one thing about going to conferences, you get to brainstorm away from all the politics, right? You get to actually talk about what we need. And one thing that made Lamarque amazing to me watching them growing up down the road was that Lamarque had a sense of identity. And that was, they had the one school district, they had the amazing football team, but they had a sense of identity. And I think that's what we need for our children here in Lamarque, because we have so many charter schools, we have so many different schools, but we do need a place of identity for our children so that they can feel good about what Lamarque is, because we definitely felt good about that. So if we could do that, nice to hear that Bobby Beach people came out for that, to do that, because it is going to take community to get that. But I don't know if you keep hearing community. That's what we've been saying all the last couple of weeks is community and advocating for our community. Someone said about the 2017 bond that's happening with the paved streets. And let me just say, you were on Edgar Street, Joe, at National Night Out with Mr. Sorrento. That was one of the worst streets in District A, but it was nice to be there at nighttime and the street was absolutely paved. Now we still need lights, but it was paved. So we are doing the work, but I want to thank those of you that are standing up for righteousness and for justice and thinking positive and making sure that we are lifting up our city to be her best. I'm asking you for prayer for me and my family that we show restraint. And it's hard to do that sometimes when people are constantly provoking you. And so I encourage you to get prepared to vote, to make sure that we can continue to go to our next level in Lamarck. That's why I'm asking you for the ad hoc committee so we can get our youth involved. But I'm having the time of my life. I'm having so much fun seeing progress in our city and knowing that we're a part of that, and our constituents, they feel comfortable talking to us and they're saying, hey, we see the lights. And I'm gonna share this and I'll be finished. There's a lady that grew up off of Brookshire here in Lamarck. She lives in Tomball now. She's in her late 50s and she's a jogger. And she said, I never thought that I'd be able to come visit my mom on Brookshire and I could jog down Lake Road because it's so lit up. And I thought, and that just brought tears to my eyes. I'm like, you can, because it's so freaking lit now, right? So I mean, and she lives all the way in Tomball, but her mom lives here. She's elderly, so she's here sometimes. And she graduated from Marque High School. She's a computer scientist, amazing woman. And to see and to have her call meant so much, you know. So sometimes it's those little things, and you're right. We had a great time, a national night out, and going to the classes at TML. And so I'm ready to go to the next level and do what we have to do to compete so that we can be called an all-American city and get that award. That's all I have. Ditto to everything else y'all said. See you at Bayou Fest.
Thank you, Kim. I wanted to say that I too had an amazing time at TML. We joked, I believe, the other day, we joked at National Night Out that the time we were there, I think the first night, Cesar was so exhausted, he had to leave. He left us. I think the second night, Joe ended up having to leave us. Kim was constantly in a state of exhaustion, and I got sick toward the end of the trip. And it wasn't really what you think it was. It's not what you think it is. Serving in municipal government is a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. And it's more mundane than you might think, but definitely it's rewarding. Thank you all for an amazing time in San Antonio. We have a lot of work to do. I won't belabor the point because we have an executive session. But I will say, I am glad tonight that I had an opportunity to witness the Safe City initiative update. And in that, I want to remind us that the fact of the matter is crime is down. That's a fact. That's not an assertion. It's not a fantasy. That's a fact in our city. Kudos to our finest, the police department, the Lamarck Police Department. I also wanted to say that along with those folks that Joe mentioned in our National Night Out program on Saturday, there was another National Night Out event happening on that previous Tuesday over in the Saltgrass community. Mrs. Ginger Manette, I believe, coordinated that event. I believe Mr. Chief David Merriman attended that event. And so we don't ever want to leave. And I know Joe didn't intend to. That's why I'm following him. We don't ever want to leave any member of our community behind. In the Saltgrass community, I'm sure did an excellent job. We wanted to honor them with adding them to the list of folks that participated. And I'll say, lastly, what I'll say is what struck me about National Night Out is two very different experiences that I had. And those were the experiences in Omega Bay and the experiences at Saltgrass Crossing. Both of them were new as locations. And when we went to Omega Bay, it struck me, and I said this to the Omega Bay community, I've been on council for 18 years, and James Osteen has been their council member for many, many years. What we saw when we went to Omega Bay was a garage full of residents who wanted to be a part of our city. They wanted to hear what was happening in our city. They had questions about what was happening in our city. And they invited not only our council members and our city manager, but our city staff in its entirety, those that participated. They invited us in with open arms. And I'm grateful to the people of Omega Bay for allowing us to be a part of their national night out. And I think that it's great that we've been able to establish a stronger relationship with our community members out at Omega Bay, and we'll continue to move forward with that relationship. It is as good as it has ever been, and I look forward to it being even better in the future. And then those young, passionate, vibrant people at Saltgrass, at Horizon Meadows, those young faces that were hungry for change and interested in serving. I believe Chief Argon and City Manager Garcia were inundated with folk that wanted to work at the city in some capacity. We want to help. We want to be a part of what's happening. And the new leadership at the apartment complex, the dynamic duo that we met, what wonderful attitudes and fresh faces we saw. And so we saw two very different communities. One filled with very accomplished people who have been all over this country with success, and another full of people who are just starting life out in the lower levels of what we call quality of life. Both of them eager to be a part of this great city. If that doesn't tell you who we are in this great city, I don't know what we ought to be able to say. The last thing I will say as it relates to recalls and all of that stuff, I just got one word: vote. That's all I got to say about that, is go vote.
Mayor, I want to just point out also, you had two items on the Tuesday, the 4th. It was also Miss Gonzalez at Shady Lane. Is that correct?
Very good.
Yeah.
Miss Gonzalez, let's not forget Miss Gonzalez and the people over at Shady Lane. Yes, thank you.
Which I understand we cannot miss that one again. They apparently had an amazing layout assortment of refreshments that made us envious.
The best taco bar, the Gonzalez family, the best taco bar in town, according to you. We have not had a chance to deliberate. There's nothing further. We're going to go into executive session. Item 15 or 14, excuse me, executive session. City Council, say so. I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything closing? Go ahead. You sure? I'm tired. As y'all can see, I'm very tired.
I'm great. We can.
Casey said, let's go then. 14, executive session. The City Council of the City of Marque, Texas reserves the right to adjourn into executive session at any time during this meeting to discuss any matters listed above as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, 551.072, deliberations about real property, 551.073, deliberations about gifts and donations, 551.074, personnel matters, 551.076, deliberations about security devices, 551.086, economic development. Tonight, we're going in for two purposes. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, Todd Weidman versus the City of Lamarck. Section 14.2, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, case number 3-21-CV-0196, Ashley Robinson versus the City of Lamarck, Todd Weidman and Charles Jackson. We will close the regular scheduled meeting at
8:57.
8:57. We will recess into executive session at this time.
attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th for Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022. Bring the entire family to Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th. Bring the entire family to Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th for Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022. Bring the entire family to Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th for Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Yancey, and I am your City Councilwoman of District A. I want to invite you to one of our most premier beloved events, Bayou Fest, that's held on October 15th, this year, 2022. Come on and bring your family and your friends as we celebrate music, being American, and most of all, loving our city. So I hope to see you October 15th at Highland Bayou Park. Come and be a part of Lamarque's progress.
Hey, Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett here, and I'm to you about Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. Yes. Once again, we are out here with one of our sponsors here at Coastal Direct Auto, right off of Main Street. We're here to talk about Bayou Fest this Saturday, October 15th. We're going to be out at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. You can come out early in the morning for kids fish, but the number one highlight, if you want to bring your kids out, is one of our sponsors, Coastal Direct Auto, mutton busting. So if your kids ever had the dream of wearing one of them big cowboy belt buckles, well, they can get their fix this Saturday. So one of the major things that we want to talk about is be able to highlight our sponsors. So my buddy Tim here with Coastal Direct is going to tell us a little bit about what they do.
We're a service fleet company here in Lamarque. We service the major fleets, large, small electrical up to big corporations. We do both of them. So anybody wants to come out and be with us, we'd love to have the opportunity to earn your business.
Well, you heard it right here from him. If you've got kids, bring them out mutton busting this Saturday at Bayou Fest, Mac McGaffey, Highland Bayou Park. We'll be out there.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Yancey, and I am your City Councilwoman of District A. I want to invite you to one of our most premier beloved events, Bayou Fest, that's held on October 15th, this year, 2022. Come on and bring your family and your friends as we celebrate music, being American, and most of all, loving our city. So I hope to see you October 15th at Highland Bayou Park. Come and be a part of Lamarque's progress.
Bring the entire family to Marque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th for Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Yancey, and I am your City Councilwoman of District A. I want to invite you to one of our most premier beloved events, Bayou Fest, that's held on October 15th, this year, 2022. Come on and bring your family and your friends as we celebrate music, being American, and most of all, loving our city. So I hope to see you October 15th at Highland Bayou Park. Come and be a part of Lamarque's progress.
Hey, Lamarque. It's your public relations officer, John, here, and I am here to talk to you about Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. Hey, Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett, and we are here at Fast Distributing Miller Lite here in Lamarque, Texas for Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. So we're excited this Saturday, October 15th at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. We're having our largest event of the year. It's for kids fish starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett here, and I am here to talk to you about Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. Once again, we are out here with one of our sponsors here at Coastal Direct Auto, right off of Main Street. We're here to talk about Bayou Fest this Saturday, October 15th. We're going to be out at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. You can come out early in the morning for kids fish, but the #1 highlight, if you want to bring your kids out, and one of our sponsors, Coastal Direct Auto, mutton busting. So if your kids ever had a dream of wearing one of them big cowboy belt buckles, well, they can get their fix this Saturday with mutton busting. So one of the major things that we want to talk about is be able to highlight our sponsors. So my buddy Tim here with Coastal Direct is going to tell us a little bit about what they do.
We're a service fleet company here in Lamarque. We service the major fleets, large, small electrical companies, all the way up to big corporations. We do both of them. So anybody wants to come out and be with us, we'd love to have the opportunity to earn your business.
Well, you heard it right here from him. If you've got kids, bring them out mutton busting this Saturday at Bayou Fest, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. We'll be out there all day. Concerts will start in the evening, and we'll top it all off with a great fireworks show. So thanks to Tim, Coastal Direct, and everything. If you've got a business and it's got vehicles, bring it on over to Main Street, Coastal Auto Direct. We'll see you this Saturday. Hey, Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett, and we are here at Fast Distributing Miller Lite here in Lamarque, Texas, getting ready for Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. So we're excited this Saturday, October 15th at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. We're having our largest event of the year. It's full of kids fish starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We've got pumpkin carving. We have bounce houses. We've got food trucks. We have beer distributing. We have concerts starting with Mr. Dion Pride. Then next up is Galveston's own Hamilton Loomis, and also headlining this year, Mr. Stoney LaRue. All of that is being capped off with fireworks, but it doesn't matter if you come out in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night. If you're out there and you're drinking cold beer, it's coming from our friends here at Fast Distributing Miller Lite. I'm here with Robert Terry today, and he's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Fast Distributing has been here since 1957. We distribute a lot of different brands here in the county. We distribute to bars, restaurants, hotels, and if you brought beer anytime in Galveston County, I'm sure you brought it from Faust Distributing. We deliver about 50,000 cases a week, and we'd like to see you at the Bayou Fest this Saturday.
So come out this Saturday from 8 a.m. with kids fish all through the evening. Fireworks are capped off at 10 o'clock. We'll be out there all day. Thanks to our friends, Robert Terry, and everybody here at Fast Distributing Miller Lite. You'll have cold beer all day. We'll see you out this Saturday, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park for Bayou Fest 2022.
See you there.
Bring the entire family to Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll see you Saturday, October 15th for Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022.
Well, hey, Lamarque, it's Joshua Pritchett, your public relations officer here for the City of Lamarque. And one of the major things that we're talking about today is Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. So it's going to be at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park, October 15th. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So we're starting off in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning with kids fish. After that, we've got pumpkin carving. We've got cornhole tournaments. We've got food trucks. We've got everything. It's free parking. It's a free event. It's free concerts, and then we're going to top it all off with a fireworks show. And I tell you what, from hot food to cold beer to all these kids' bounce houses and activities, it's all due in part to my buddy here, Larry at Land and Sea. Been generous to donate all the generators this year, and one of the major things is, hey, we can't have power, we can't have activities without your donation. So from us, we just wanted to say a big thank you to you, Larry. Big thank you to your staff and crew and everything that y'all do. And Larry's going to tell us a little bit about Land and Sea.
We provide generator services, sales, we do installs on residential and commercial. We have some rental generators that we help out our customers with, but mainly we're a Cummins dealer, John Deere dealer, Kohler dealer, all your major brands. We do marine generators also in marine industry. Just anything mechanical, engine, diesel needs that we're here to provide.
Larry, how long have you been here in Lamarck?
Since 1993, we started here in Lamarck. And we've grown. We've actually bought more property around us, and our business has grown through the years. And we employ about 20 people here, so it's been well.
And they do so much here for our city. They do so much for this community involvement, sports teams, as well as these festival events and all the above. So for everybody here in Lamarck and beyond all of Galveston County, if you need any needs whatsoever that involve Land and Sea, come out to see Larry and his staff at Land and Sea. And don't forget, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park, October 15th. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And we will see you out there for Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. Hey Lamarck, this is your Public Relations Officer, Joshua Pritchett, and I'm here with one of our Bayou Fest sponsors at Mainland Tool. This is my friend Brad, who is one of the sales managers here at Mainland Tool, supporting Bayou Fest 2022. And just as a reminder, Bayou Fest this year is October 15th. It's not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. And so we're gonna have everything starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, from kids fish, pumpkin carving, mutton busting, kids activities all day. We're also gonna have food trucks, and we're gonna have a free concert starting at 4:30 with Beyond Pride. Hamilton Loomis, Galveston's own, is up next, and our headliner this year is Mr. Stoney LaRue. After those concerts, we're going to commemorate the night with a fireworks show starting at 10 o'clock. We would love to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and today we're here with Brad from Mainland Tool, who's going to talk to us a little bit about Mainland Tool.
Hello everybody, I'm Brad with Mainland Tool. Just a little bit about us. We've currently been in business a little over 40 years. We rent, sell, repair tools, and also PPE. We specialize in equipment for homeowners, also equipment for the refineries. Basically anybody and everybody can come in, rent from us, purchase from us, get your tools repaired here as well. We take pride in our sponsorships and the support of our community. We've been doing that for years. As you can take a look at our wall, it's covered with all the plaques and everything of all the events that we've sponsored. And we're proud sponsors of Bayou Fest.
And we would just love to say thank you to Mainland Tool, as well as all of our sponsors, for making these community events possible. So remember, whether you live in Lamarck, Texas City, Galveston County, or beyond, show up to Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park October 15th, starting at 8 a.m. all the way till 10 p.m. And there's something for everybody. So we will see you October 15th, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. Thank you so much.
Hopefully we win the Triple Crown tonight, bring home the trophy.
Go Marque!
Hi, my name is Kimberly Yancey, and I am your City Councilwoman of District A. I want to invite you to one of our most premier beloved events, Bayou Fest, that's held on October 15th, this year, 2022. Come on and bring your family and your friends as we celebrate music, being American, and most of all, loving our city. So I hope to see you October 15th at Highland Bayou Park. Come and be a part of Lamarque's progress.
Hey Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett here, and I am here to talk to you about Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. Once again, we are out here with one of our sponsors here at Coastal Direct Auto, right off of Main Street. We're here to talk about Bayou Fest this Saturday, October 15th. We're going to be out at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. You can come out early in the morning for kids fish, but the #1 highlight, if you want to bring your kids out, and one of our sponsors, Coastal Direct Auto, mutton busting. So if your kids ever had a dream of wearing one of them big cowboy belt buckles, well, they can get their fix this Saturday with mutton busting. So one of the major things that we want to talk about is be able to highlight our sponsors. So my buddy Tim here with Coastal Direct is going to tell us a little bit about what they do.
We're a service fleet company here in Lamarque. We service the major fleets, large, small electrical companies, all the way up to big corporations. We do both of them. So anybody wants to come out and be with us, we'd love to have the opportunity to earn your business.
Well, you heard it right here from him. If you've got kids, bring them out mutton busting this Saturday at Bayou Fest, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. We'll be out there all day. Concerts will start in the evening, and we'll top it all off with a great fireworks show. So thanks to Tim, Coastal Direct, and everything. If you've got a business and it's got vehicles, bring it on over to Main Street, Coastal Auto Direct. We'll see you this Saturday. Hey Lamarque, it's your public relations officer, Joshua Pritchett, and we are here at Fast Distributing Miller Lite here in Lamarque, Texas, getting ready for Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest, Bayou Fest. So we're excited this Saturday, October 15th at Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park. We're having our largest event of the year. It's full of kids fish starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We've got pumpkin carving. We have bounce houses. We've got food trucks. We have beer distributing. We have concerts starting with Mr. Dion Pride. Then next up is Galveston's own Hamilton Loomis, and also headlining this year, Mr. Stoney LaRue. All of that is being capped off with fireworks, but it doesn't matter if you come out in the morning, afternoon, evening, or night. If you're out there and you're drinking cold beer, it's coming from our friends here at Faust Distributing Miller Lite. I'm here with Robert Terry today, and he's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Faust Distributing has been here since 1957. We distribute a lot of different brands here in the county. We distribute to bars, restaurants, hotels, and if you brought beer anytime in Galveston County, I'm sure you brought it from Faust Distributing. We deliver about 50,000 cases a week, and we'd like to see you at the Bayou Fest this Saturday.
So come out this Saturday from 8 a.m. with kids fish all through the evening. Fireworks are capped off at 10 o'clock. We'll be out there all day. Thanks to our friends, Robert Terry, and everybody here at Faust Distributing Miller Lite. You'll have cold beer all day. We'll see you out this Saturday, Mac McGaffey Highland Bayou Park for Bayou Fest 2022.
See you there.
Bring the entire family to Lamarque Bayou Fest 2022, Saturday, October 15th. It's the largest concert festival in Lamarque, and you can attend for free. Tons of activities for all ages. The Cowboy Jones Fishing Tournament, Mutton Bustin', and the Triple Crown Cook-Off. Bounce houses, a pumpkin patch, and a pumpkin decorating contest. Shop the numerous local vendors and amazing food. Stay to enjoy the free concert and fireworks show. The Lamarque Bayou Fest is presented by the City of Lamarque and the Texas City Lamarque Chamber of Commerce. We'll
Welcome back. We are at item 15. We have to now close the executive session at
9:23.
and open the regular session at 9:23 as well.
Yes, sir.
We're at item 15. Actions taken from executive session. In 15:1, section 551.071. I believe there is no action to be taken at this time.
That is correct.
Okay. And item 15:2, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, case number 3-21-CV-0196, Ashley Robinson versus the city of Lamarck, Todd Wyman and Charles Jackson in the Southern District of Texas, Galveston Division. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the settlement.
The second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, council. Item 16, adjournment. I'll entertain a motion. The second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you.